Chapter 5461. The Nethersea suddenly changed, and the weather changed. A terrifying deathly aura spread in all directions, as if a terrifying existence had awakened from its slumber. The commotion caused by the battle between Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng was so great that it had awakened an unknown, terrifying existence. At that moment, a terrifying black chi swept out from the depths of the Nether Sea, covering the sky and covering the earth. Within the black chi, two terrifying blood-colored lights could be seen. Those were the eyes of a terrifying existence. Gu Fei's divine consciousness clone had originally wanted to leave. However, he was now very curious as to what kind of big fellow was hiding in the Nether Sea. This fellow was an absolute infinite prime. Apart from himself and the Flame Realm Divine Tree, Yin Wu, no one else on the Flame Star was a match for this fellow. Moreover, this fellow was the opposite of life. This fellow represented death. At that moment, even Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng, who were fighting in the sky, stopped. They felt a great threat, as the existence in the black chi had already targeted them. Endless black chi surged and turned into a death hand that was even bigger than a mountain, grabbing at Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng. The hand of death covered the entire sky, and the terrifying power of death that emanated from the hand of death actually sealed the entire space between heaven and earth. What? Yin Huatian felt his body tighten. Then, he couldn't even move a finger. He was scared half to death. The same was true for Hong Sheng. He was also imprisoned in the void by that terrifying existence and couldn't move at all. Both Hong Sheng and Yin Huatian were the top patriarchs of their respective clans. However, these two fellows had become meat on a chopping board, waiting to be slaughtered. We're doomed. Hong Sheng was also horrified. Just as the hand of death was about to grab them, a figure suddenly appeared in front of them. Then, the entire sky and earth became bright. However, no light was emitted from this person's body, and the darkness that shrouded the sky and earth was dispersed. Master, Master, save me. Hong Sheng was both surprised and delighted when he saw the person who had come. Gu Fei had come. No matter how terrifying this fellow was, he wouldn't have to die. Master. Yin Huatian was dumbfounded when he saw Gu Fei. His master had actually returned. Moreover, what was going on with Hong Sheng? Why did he call him master? Gu Fei had come, but this was only a divine will incarnation. However, even the incarnation of his will was extremely powerful. With a single thought, he directly dispelled the deathly aura in the surroundings and confronted the existence that had rushed out from the depths of the netherworld sea. The existence hidden in the endless black gas was a bit surprised. There was actually someone who could contend against him. The ruler of the netherworld sea was unimaginably powerful. No one knew how long this existence had been sleeping in the depths of the netherworld sea. The Death Master had absorbed an endless amount of death force, and his cultivation had broken through to the infinite prime realm. The real infinite prime realm was not like Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng, who were half a step to the infinite prime realm. Before a true infinite prime, Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng were like ants. If the Death Master wanted to kill them, it would be no different from crushing an ant. Dead souls? Gu Fei's divine will incarnation stared at the surging deathly black gas in front of him. His eyes were extremely bright. The aura of the great path that spread from Gu Fei's divine will incarnation could actually contend against the deathly aura of the Death Master. This made Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng dumbfounded. In fact, Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng could not tell that the master in front of them was only a divine will incarnation. Please call me the Death Master. A wave of divine will spread out from the black gas. Death Master? Gu Fei's divine will incarnation smiled. An infinite prime dead soul could really be called the Death Master. This was because this was the strongest dead soul that he had ever seen. Human, you are only an incarnation. How dare you be so presumptuous in front of me? The wave of divine will spread out again. Incarnation? At this time, Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng realized that the master in front of them was actually an incarnation. Oh no! Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng felt that things were not going well. If their master was only an incarnation, how could he contend against the Death Master? These two fellas were already prepared to escape. Once Gu Fei's divine will incarnation could not stop the Death Master, they would escape immediately. They did not want to die. I did not act presumptuously in front of you. Which eye of yours saw me act presumptuously in front of you? Gu Fei's divine will incarnation said disapprovingly. Then why did you stop me from killing them? The Death Master sneered. Why did I stop you from killing them? Because they are my subordinates. How could I just watch you kill them? Gu Fei's divine will incarnation's face turned solemn. At this time, the death hand that was condensed from endless black gas did not dissipate in the void. It was still shrouding above Gu Fei's divine will incarnation and Yen Huatian's head. However, the confinement power that came from the death hand could not affect Gu Fei's incarnation and the others. They are your subordinates? The existence in the black gas seemed a little surprised. Master, help! Yen Huatian and Hong Sheng hid behind Gu Fei's divine will incarnation in fear. The Death Master that jumped out from the depths of the Netherworld Sea was extremely powerful and terrifying. If it were not for Gu Fei's divine will incarnation, they would have been dead by now. Then I will refine you too. The existence in the black gas said indifferently. Haha, you can try. Gu Fei's divine will incarnation laughed. He had never seen such an arrogant guy who wanted to refine himself. Die. A shocking murderous aura erupted from the black gas, and the temperature of the entire world dropped rapidly. Yen Huatian and Hong Sheng felt as if they had suddenly fallen into an ice cave. Their bodies were cold and the chill went straight to their bones. They were powerful people at the half-step infinity realm, but even their souls were trembling at this time. You guys back off. Gu Fei's divine will incarnation stood with his hands clasped behind his back and said calmly. Yen Huatian and Hong Sheng glanced at each other and then rushed away. You are just an incarnation, the Death Master in the black gas said disdainfully. Rumble. The death hand that was originally hovering in the sky suddenly trembled and released an even more powerful death energy. The huge death hand descended from the sky. Who said that an incarnation can't fight with you? Gu Fei's divine will incarnation said disapprovingly. Very well, I will kill you first, then find your original body and kill you too. Chapter 5462. The battle between Yen Huatian and Hong Sheng had awakened the mysterious Death Ruler of the Nether Ocean. The Death Ruler was extremely powerful. He was an infinite prime. Yen Huatian and Hong Sheng were as weak as ants in front of the Death Ruler. If Gu Fei's consciousness clone had not intervened in time, the two of them would have been refined and devoured by the Death Ruler. Rumble. A huge death hand descended from the sky and headed straight for Gu Fei's consciousness clone. A terrifying deathly aura spread in all directions. Even Yen Huatian and Hong Sheng, who were hiding far away, could feel their souls trembling. The deathly power that erupted from the death hand was just too shocking. Although there were many protective formations on the Flame Island, the clansmen of the Flame Clan were still trembling in fear. At this moment, Gu Fei's divine will incarnation, who was enveloped by the hand of death, stood calmly with his hands behind his back. However, the spiritual energy of the world around Gu Fei's consciousness clone, especially the deathly aura, was gathering towards him in a frenzy. In the Nether Ocean, deathly aura was the least lacking. Gu Fei's consciousness clone did not reject any of it. He could even refine and absorb the deathly aura and turn it into his own power. A huge sword shadow appeared on his body. Then, it shot into the sky and pierced through the descending death hand. Cold sword chi erupted from the sword shadow condensed by Gu Fei's consciousness clone, causing spatial ripples to appear in the surrounding void. Slaying the ruler with a single slash. Gu Fei's consciousness clone was extremely powerful. So what if it was just a consciousness clone? He dared to fight an infinite prime and slay the Death Ruler. Even the Death Ruler, who was hidden in the towering deathly aura, could not help but be shocked when he saw Gu Fei's consciousness clone unleash such an attack. This guy's clone was already so powerful. If his real body attacked, wouldn't it be even more powerful? What Gu Fei used to descend into the Netherworld Sea was only a divine will embodiment. The embodiment's combat strength was definitely not stronger than the real body. The real body's combat strength was definitely far above the embodiment's. However, Gu Fei's clone of the will of his soul was very powerful as well. After all, he was in existence at the major achievement of infinite prime. Even a clone of the will of his soul could wield power that was infinitely close to infinite prime. Moreover, Gu Fei had mastered the Ascension secret art, one of the 9 secrets of immortal Tao. He had also cultivated the Extreme Breach secret art. Once he used these 2 secret arts at the same time, his battle prowess would definitely multiply. In this way, his divine will incarnation could really fight against the mysterious Death Master of the Netherworld Sea. Swoosh! The sword shadow flashed across the void. In the next moment, the death hand that descended from the sky was directly pierced by the sword shadow and dissipated in the void. What? The Death Ruler was both shocked and infuriated at the sight of this. His opponent was just a tiny divine sense clone. Yet he was actually able to break this attack of his? Kill. A furious roar came from the black smoke. The entire void was shaken, and pitch-black spatial rifts appeared one after another. At this time, the laws of heaven and earth on the flame star had not yet taken shape, and the void was not very stable. Therefore, the Death Ruler's roar almost caused the surrounding void to collapse. Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng, who had retreated to a distant place, were also shocked by the Death Ruler's roar. Their ears buzzed, and their qi and blood surged up to their throats. They almost spat out a mouthful of blood. This guy, Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng, the 2 half-step infinite prime experts, were extremely frightened. In the face of this kind of power, they could not even think of resisting, because the Death Ruler was too powerful and terrifying. They, who were usually high and mighty, were not much stronger than ants in front of the Death Ruler. At this time, streaks of black light rushed out of the black smoke in front of Gu Fei's clone of the will, directly piercing through Gu Fei's clone of the will. Gu Fei's clone of the will saw that the streaks of black light that pierced through the black smoke were actually death spears condensed from endless death force. He sensed that the death spears that pierced through the black smoke were bursting out with frightening death force. Even Gu Fei's clone of the will would be doomed if it was pierced by these death spears. Here you go. Gu Fei's clone of the will split its hands, and a strange wave of power immediately spread out with him as the center. The void around him immediately produced a mysterious and profound vibration. Buzz! The void shook, and all the death spears that pierced through Gu Fei's clone of the will suddenly disappeared. However, in the next moment, all the death spears that had disappeared suddenly reappeared. The process was completed in an instant, and the death spears that had reappeared all shot back at the Death Ruler in the black smoke. This was one of the 9 secrets of the immortal Tao, the chaotic reversal secret skill. Once this secret skill was used, it could reverse the universe and all attacks back to the opponent twice. It had to be said that this secret skill was really heaven-defying. The chaotic reversal secret skill could even reverse the Death Ruler's attack when it was used by Gu Fei's clone of the will. This was a powerful move that was used by an infinite prime. How is this possible? The figure in the black smoke of death exclaimed. His attack had actually been reversed by this human's clone, which made him a little dumbfounded. This was because such a thing had never happened before. Before this, the Death Ruler had never thought that there would actually be someone in this world who could reverse his powerful move. This guy could actually reverse his powerful move. Didn't that mean that this guy was invincible? Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng were also dumbfounded when they saw this, and their eyeballs almost fell to the ground. All of the death spears were shot into the black gas and disappeared inside. Then, black vines rushed out of the black smoke and directly wrapped around Gu Fei's clone of the will. When Gu Fei's spiritual force incarnation saw this, he immediately threw a punch forward. Boom! His fist force instantly turned into a monstrous divine fire that swept forward, directly burning all the black vines that were trying to wrap around him into ashes. This was the fire element fist of the 5 elements fist that Gu Fei had mastered. The fist force was like fire, burning the whole world red, and even the void was distorted. At this moment, Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng realized that they could not even take a punch from the clone of the will of their master. The punch that Gu Fei's clone of the will had thrown was really powerful. The endless death chi was instantly dispersed by the fist force of the fire element fist of the will of Gu Fei's clone of the will, and a figure surrounded by death chi appeared in the void. Chapter 5463. Gu Fei's divine will clone communicated with the heavens and earth. He activated the boundless power of death. At this moment, he seemed to have transformed into another death master. He punched out. Boundless fire element fist force exploded. The fist force directly dispersed the overwhelming death energy in front of him. A figure surrounded by death energy appeared in front of him. When Gu Fei's divine will incarnation saw this figure, he was stunned. This death dominator, who was surrounded by a deathly aura, was actually a woman. Actually, Gu Fei's divine will clone really did not care whether this death master was a man or a woman. The problem was that this woman looked exactly the same as the Flame World's Realm Lord. When Gu Fei's divine will clone saw this woman, he thought that this person was Yin Wu. However, this person could not be Yin Wu, because Yin Wu's body was filled with positive energy, while this woman in black was filled with negative energy. One positive and one negative. It was like a person's two extremes. Could it be? Gu Fei's divine will clone suddenly thought of something and couldn't help but look at this so-called death master in shock. A puny human can actually be so powerful. How is this possible? The slightly pale death master looked coldly at Gu Fei's divine will clone and said in an extremely calm tone. As the death master spoke, she waved her right hand. A dark light immediately blocked in front of her. The powerful fist force was actually blocked just like that. In my eyes, nothing is impossible. Gu Fei's divine will clone took a step forward and instantly appeared in front of the death master's protective light shield. Then, he punched out again. Bam! Gu Fei's spiritual will embodiment's punch landed heavily on the light shield. However, what shocked him was that there were only ripples visible to the naked eye on the Death Lord's protective light shield. You are not qualified to fight me. The Death Master extended her right hand and flicked at Gu Fei's divine will clone. In the next moment, Gu Fei's divine will clone felt an extremely powerful force colliding with him. Then, he flew backwards. Gu Fei's divine sense clone couldn't help but be shocked. This woman, who looked like Yin Wu, was simply too powerful. He had truly underestimated her. At this moment, the chief sovereign of death was rather surprised as well. This fellow had taken a bullet from her, but his divine will incarnation hadn't been destroyed. In fact, Gu Fei's divine will embodiment was even more shocked. After all, Death Flame Dance had nearly shattered him with a casual flick of her finger. If the other party attacked again, he would really be broken into pieces. Hey, chick, do you have a twin sister? Gu Fei's divine sense clone rushed over from afar and shouted at Death Flame Dance. What twin sisters? I, the chief hegemon, was born from the will of heaven and earth. I am a unique existence. Death Flame Dance's tone was as calm as ever. Haha, so that's how it is. Gu Fei's spiritual will incarnation smiled. He had guessed correctly. What do you mean? Death Flame Dance said. Divinity and demonic nature, righteous and evil thoughts, twins. Gu Fei's spiritual will incarnation said with a solemn expression. You? Death Flame Dance's expression finally changed when she heard what Gu Fei's spiritual will incarnation said. This was because Gu Fei's spiritual will had revealed her origins. She was actually Death Flame Dance. More accurately, she was formed from Death Flame Dance's evil thoughts. Otherwise, how could she have gathered such powerful death energy? One must know that even if all the living beings in the flame world died in the netherworld sea, the death energy of the entire flame world would not be able to produce an infinite prime, the supreme lord of death. Anyone who knows this hegemon's secret must die. As Death Flame Dance spoke, she extended her right hand and flicked a finger at Gu Fei's spiritual will incarnation. This move again? Gu Fei's spiritual will incarnation was already prepared. However, he still underestimated the power of a casual flick of the other party's finger. He used the chaotic reversal secret technique with all his might. However, the power of the other party's finger directly broke through his chaotic reversal secret technique. Then, a fist-sized hole appeared on Gu Fei's spiritual will incarnation's chest. The hole on Gu Fei's spiritual will incarnation's body gradually expanded. Soon, Gu Fei's spiritual will incarnation completely disappeared in the void. It had been casually dispersed by the Death Ruler. Far away in the Grand Mist Divine Race's divine city, Gu Fei suddenly opened his eyes. He actually dispersed one of my spiritual will incarnations? With a thought, Gu Fei's figure disappeared in the void and reappeared in the sky above Hongmeng Divine City. Meanwhile, near the Flame Island in the Netherworld Sea, Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng were scared out of their wits by the scene in front of them. Their master's divine will incarnation had been destroyed by the Death Master. Gu Fei's spiritual will incarnation was their lifesaver. Now, this lifesaver had been destroyed, which was very bad for them. The Flame Tribe's elders on the Flame Island were also dumbfounded. "Who can save us?" Yin Hui said in a trembling voice. "It's just a spiritual will incarnation." The darkened Yin Wu had casually dispersed one of Gu Fei's spiritual will incarnations. It seemed as though she had done it effortlessly. In fact, it wasn't easy for her to disperse Gu Fei's spiritual will incarnation. However, in Yin Huatian's opinion, it was too easy for the Death Ruler to disperse their master's spiritual will incarnation. "Hey, I didn't expect you to act tough too." Suddenly, a voice rang out. Then, a figure appeared in front of the darkened Yin Wu. "The real body is finally here." The darkened Yin Wu said expressionlessly, "Master, it's Master." When Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng saw that person, they were both surprised and delighted. Their master's real body had arrived, and it wasn't an incarnation. They were saved now. The people on the Flame Island were also ecstatic. "Stop acting tough. You destroyed one of my incarnations. How are you going to compensate me?" Gu Fei sized up the darkened Yin Wu. Was this Yin Wu's evil intent? Actually, it wasn't accurate to say that it was evil intent. After all, the darkened Yin Wu was a living creature with some flesh. She wasn't an incarnation of evil intent. "Not only will I destroy your incarnation, but I will also eat you." The darkened Yin Wu stretched out her right hand and grabbed at the person in front of her. "Come on, I will let you eat me." Gu Fei hooked his finger at the darkened Yin Wu. In the next moment, the darkened flame dance's hand of death grabbed Gu Fei. What is Master trying to do? Chapter 5464. Gu Fei's real body had finally arrived. Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng were overjoyed. Their master was here, and they would be saved. After all, their master was an infinite prime. Both Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng were like ants in front of Gu Fei. A half-step infinite prime was a half-step infinite prime after all. He was not a true infinite prime. The difference between an infinite prime and a half-step infinite prime was too great. However, Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng were shocked. The Death Master had condensed a death hand and grabbed Gu Fei. Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng were extremely shocked. If even Gu Fei wasn't a match for the Death Dominator of the Netherworld Sea, then they would really be doomed. Gu Fei was their only hope of survival. No one knew better than them how terrifying the Death Master was. "Humph, I thought you were powerful," darkened Yin Wu sneered. Dark Flame Dance sneered. Although she said that, she was actually surprised. How could this guy be so useless? Gu Fei's infinite prime cultivation was not fake. Since he was an infinite prime, even if he was not her weakest, he should not be so useless. He was caught in one move. "Haha, how powerful do you think you are?" Gu Fei laughed heartily. Although he was caught by Dark Flame Dance's hand of death, he didn't show any signs of panic or anxiety. "Humph, you're so happy even when you're about to die? Then I'll send you on your way." As darkened Yin Wu said that, a ball of demonic fire appeared on her death hand. It was a terrifying death fire that could burn everything in the world. Of course, darkened Yin Wu had used this infinite death fire to refine countless powerful creatures in the fire world. There was a reason why she had hibernated in the Netherworld Sea. "Hey, you're a girl. Why are you playing with fire?" Gu Fei, who was caught by the death hand, was immediately enveloped by the death fire that erupted from the death hand. However, even though he was enveloped by the fire of death, the fire of death was unable to harm him because a layer of protective aura surged around him. It was this protective layer of Dipper energy that kept the deathly flames out of Gu Fei's body. It looked like Gu Fei was enveloped by the death fire, but the death fire couldn't even touch his clothes. "This is bad. This is bad. This time, we really won't be able to escape." Yin Huatian practically despaired when he saw this scene. Even Hong Shang was staring nervously at the hand of death in the void. At this moment, a powerful water elemental energy erupted from Gu Fei's body. After that, the death fire that was emanating from the death's hand was directly extinguished by this water elemental energy. Dark Flame Dance's expression changed upon seeing this. Open for me. At this moment, Gu Fei shouted loudly, and an even more tyrannical power erupted from his body. The death hand that was grabbing him actually exploded. How is this possible? Dark Flame Dance was taken aback. This guy actually managed to break her death hand. At the moment when the death hand exploded, a figure rushed out and pounced directly at Dark Flame Dance at an extremely fast speed. Gu Fei was a warrior, and he was the purest warrior in the world. Warriors were best at close combat. During a battle with a warrior, the greatest taboo was for the warrior to get close to the warrior. This was because once the warrior got close to the warrior, the person fighting the warrior would be in deep trouble. Even if one's cultivation had reached Gu Fei's level, close combat was still one of his trump cards. However, Dark Flame Dance didn't want Gu Fei to get close to her. Like a phantom, Darkened Flame Dance flew backward, leaving behind a series of afterimages in the void that were hard to distinguish between real and fake. "Io, you sure are fast." Gu Fei missed. "Kill," Dark Flame Dance shouted. In the next moment, countless death threads rushed out from her body and wrapped around Gu Fei. These death threads were extremely terrifying. As long as they wrapped around him, even an infinite prime would be injured. Gu Fei's heart trembled. He also retreated, and he retreated even faster than Dark Flame Dance because he didn't want to be entangled by these death threads. Of course, this didn't mean that Gu Fei was afraid of these death threads. Gu Fei's martial body was well-tempered. The death threads that rushed out from Dark Flame Dance's body might not be able to hurt him. Although he retreated quickly, his right sleeve was still swept by a death thread. A piece of his sleeve fell off, as if it had been cut off by an extremely sharp blade. "Hey, little girl, you're so fierce. Be careful that you won't be able to get married." Gu Fei shouted at Dark Flame Dance. "What did you say?" Hearing this, Dark Flame Dance was finally angered. She was a supreme ruler born from the world's will. This guy dared to humiliate her? Unforgivable. "I said that no one will want you if you're so fierce." Gu Fei shouted again. Dark Flame Dance's face paled even more. She glared at Gu Fei and wanted to tear Gu Fei to pieces. "Girls need to be gentle, understand?" Gu Fei continued speaking as if he did not notice Darkened Flame Dance's expression, which indicated that she wanted to skin him alive. "Go to hell." For the first time, Dark Flame Dance was so angry. Before this, no one dared to act impudently in front of her. Everyone who saw her would tremble in front of her. Some people were so frightened they couldn't even speak. In the eyes of the beings of Flame World, she represented death. Wherever she appeared, death would occur. But now, a human dared to say that she was fierce and that no one would want her. This was so disrespectful that she almost went crazy. Death threads erupted from Dark Flame Dance's body, enveloping Gu Fei in an earth-shattering manner. The power of death contained in each thread of death was extremely strong. Even a thread of death that was thinner than a strand of hair could easily kill existences like Yin Huatian and Hong Shang, who were half a step away from the realm of infinity. Do you really think I'm afraid of you if I don't teach you a lesson?" As Gu Fei spoke, his body shook. A domineering aura immediately erupted from his body. This time, he didn't dodge. Infinity Sword Energy. Chapter 5465. The Death Dominator of the Nether Ocean was completely enraged by Gu Fei. Countless threads of death rushed out of her body and entangled Gu Fei. Every thread of death that passed through the void would leave behind a spatial crack that was even smaller than a strand of hair. These threads of death were extremely terrifying. They could directly sever the souls of living beings. As long as one was entangled by these threads of death, there would only be one outcome: death in body and soul. At this moment, Gu Fei had no choice but to get serious. This Darkened Flame Dance was no weakling. She was a bona fide infinite prime. Infinite Sword Chi. Without any hesitation, Gu Fei immediately used his Sword Dao innate ability. Countless rays of sword light rushed out of his body and entangled the threads of death. The rays of sword light were extremely fast. However, every ray of sword light that Gu Fei sent out accurately severed the threads of death that entangled them. The threads of death that were struck by the rays of sword light would immediately dissipate in the void. The sharp rays of sword light continued to entangle the darkened flame dance. Chilling sword chi filled the sky and earth. The temperature of the entire void plummeted. The darkened flame dance could not help but be shocked when she saw this. This guy really did have some ability. Whoosh! The darkened flame dance immediately threw a punch. The countless rays of sword light that were coming towards her were directly dispersed by her punch. They turned into specks of light and disappeared in the void. Not only did her punch disperse Gu Fei's rays of sword light, but it also caused spiderweb-like cracks to appear in the void in front of her. The fist force of the darkened flame dance's punch was extremely violent. Not only did it disperse Gu Fei's rays of sword light, but its momentum did not decrease at all as it continued to blast towards Gu Fei. Heaven-splitting sword. Gu Fei waved his right hand seemingly casually. In the next moment, the vast and violent fist force was directly split apart by his sword. The sword light was like a cold bolt of lightning, directly landing on the top of the darkened flame dance's head. His sword pressed forward with an indomitable will, causing heaven and earth to pale in comparison. This was the battle prowess of a true infinite prime. Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng, who were only half-step infinite primes, definitely could not withstand Gu Fei's attack. If Gu Fei wanted to kill them, he would kill them instantly. Swoosh! Darkened flame dance immediately retreated. Although she had dodged the attack quickly, a corner of her clothes had been struck by the sword light, causing her to fall from the sky. The dark flame dance was shocked. Ever since the world will of flame world had split into righteous and evil, no one had ever touched the clothes of this dark flame dance. One had to know that she was the manifestation of the evil will of the world of flame world. From a certain perspective, she was once the supreme ruler of flame world. The world will of the flame world was a supreme existence that reigned above all beings in the world. Who in the flame world could touch her clothes? But today, this human had sliced off a piece of his robes. This was something that had never happened before. Again, 10,000 swords greeting, Gu Fei bellowed. In the next moment, an earth-shattering power of the sword Dao erupted from his body. After that, the swords of almost all the sword cultivators on the flame star started to vibrate. Some of the more powerful swords almost flew out of their owners' hands. The moment Gu Fei's 10,000 swords greeting appeared, the swords on the flame star immediately resonated. Countless swords seemed to be worshipping their supreme emperor. In just an instant, the dark flame dance was drowned by the endless sword light. But in the next moment, the dark flame dance actually broke through the layers of sword light and rushed out. Then, she reached out with her right hand and grabbed at Gu Fei. A hand of death immediately appeared in the air. Just as it was about to grab Gu Fei's figure actually disappeared. What? The dark flame dance was shocked. Sigh, you're too slow. Gu Fei's voice sounded behind the dark flame dance. The dark flame dance abruptly turned around, only to see Gu Fei standing less than 10 feet behind her, looking at her calmly. The dark flame dance had no choice but to be shocked. This human before her was really a little too ridiculously strong. You've actually awakened from your slumber? Just at this moment, a voice sounded. A powerful aura appeared in the Nether Sea. This aura was the complete opposite of the death aura of the Nether Sea. It was filled with vitality. A figure descended from the sky and appeared in the void of the world. This was a woman of unparalleled beauty. No one could describe this woman. What took you so long? Gu Fei wasn't surprised to see this woman in the slightest. The woman didn't pay any attention to Gu Fei. Instead, she just stared at the dark flame dance, because this woman was none other than the flame dance. At this time, 2 flame dances had appeared. One was the flame dance brimming with vitality. This flame dance represented life. On the other hand, flame dance represented death. It's you. When the flame dance that represented death saw the flame dance of life, the death aura that erupted from her body grew even stronger. Even the void around her was vibrating. It was as though this entire world couldn't contain the flame dance of death. "All right, I'll be watching your performance then," Gu Fei said as he retreated to the side. The flame dance of life was speechless. This guy called her over, just to have her deal with this guy? "I'll be invincible after devouring you." The flame dance of death set her sights on the flame dance of life. They were originally a single entity. Countless years ago, they had been separated. All this while, the flame dance of death had been trying to refine the flame dance of life. The flame dance of death and the flame dance of life had fought each other countless times. However, neither of them could do anything to the other, and the battle would always end in a draw. At this moment, the flame dance of life and the flame dance of death were facing off against each other. The auras of the two experts soared. Rumble. The entire nether sea was shaking. Huge waves rose as countless white bones at the bottom of the nether sea surged to the surface. This scene was simply too terrifying. These were the bones of countless living beings that had fallen. A terrifying death aura erupted. The entire nether sea was boiling. Meanwhile, the flaming island in the middle of the nether sea was like a lone boat on the sea that could capsize at any time. The group of patriarchs on the flaming island was horrified. They desperately operated the great array on the island to block the death aura that was surging in from all directions. Even so, the great array on the flaming island was on the verge of collapsing under the impact of the death aura. Gu Fei was also surprised to see this scene. These two girls had really hidden their strength well. They only revealed their true strength now. This was a battle of life and death. Chapter 5466. To Gu Fei, it was not a strange thing to have twins, because humans also had demonic and divine natures. If demonic and divine natures appeared in a person at the same time, then that person could also be divided into gods and demons. The old ancestor of the Void Realm, Yuxian and Palace Master Ling Tian were twins. Moreover, they could fuse together and become the limitless Swordmaster of the Limitless Realm. However, Yuxian and Ling Tian Palace Master's situation was different. They weren't separated because the demonic and divine natures couldn't coexist. They were separated because the Limitless Sword Master cultivated a secret technique. But now, the difference between the flame of life dance and the flame of death dance was like the difference between divinity and demonic. One represented life, while the other represented death. This was the first time Gu Fei encountered such a situation. Boom! At this moment, the entire heavens and the earth shook violently, and then two figures instantly collided with each other. It was as if two stars were colliding. Terrifying destructive energy spread in all directions. The entire surface of the nether sea collapsed, revealing the bones and mud that had accumulated for countless years. The show is finally starting. Gu Fei smiled. Towering waves rose from the netherworld sea and swept towards the Yin clan's flame island. If they were to be affected by the waves, even if the Yin clan's flame island was protected by layers of arrays, it would still be destroyed by the waves. One should know that the wave wasn't just any ordinary wave. It contained the power of the two experts in the sky. The Yin clan's old ancestors on the island were scared out of their wits when they saw the wave. They had nowhere to run in the nether sea. "We're dead." Yin Hui's voice was trembling. The other Yin clan's old ancestors were in despair. Yin Huatian was also anxious because he couldn't save his clansmen on the island with his current cultivation. And Gu Fei looked in the direction of the island and waved his right hand. A huge seal flew out from his hand and descended from the sky. This huge seal became even bigger than a mountain and floated in the sky above Flame Island. Boom! Boundless chaotic chi erupted from the seal and enveloped the entire scorching island. At this moment, the huge wave that swept over directly slammed into the chaotic aura that was descending from the seal, but was blocked by the chaotic aura. The primal chaos seal constantly trembled. The huge wave contained the power of an infinite prime. Even the primal chaos seal forged by Gu Fei was shaken. However, even though the primal chaos seal was shaken, the giant waves were unable to break through its power. The Yin clan's patriarchs on the flaming island had escaped a calamity. Yin Hui and the others on the island heaved a sigh of relief after escaping death. "Thank you for saving me, Master." Yin Hui and the others all knelt down towards Gu Fei in the sky. At this time, Gu Fei had no time to pay attention to them. Boom, bam. Incomparably shocking collisions rang out continuously. Every time a collision occurred, the entire space would tremble violently. It was as if the entire world was on the verge of being destroyed. The flame world had been destroyed, and the entire superworld had been reduced to a star in the primal chaos. The power of laws of heaven and earth on the flame star was very weak to begin with. If the flaming dance of life and the flaming dance of death hadn't intentionally controlled their power, the surrounding space would have collapsed long ago. In this place, it was extremely easy for an infinite prime to shatter the space. However, no one would shatter the space so easily. After all, once the space here was destroyed, it would be very difficult to repair it. The loss outweighed the gain. Interesting. Are they going to fight to the death by creating their own world? Gu Fei stared at the two rapidly moving figures in front of him. The space in front of them had already been isolated from the surrounding space. The flaming dance of life and the flaming dance of death had actually created their own world. They were fighting in a world they had created, but they could attack without any qualms. These two fellows were simply too powerful. Even they had to be cautious on the flame star, because the current flame star couldn't withstand the power of an infinite prime. The power of heaven and earth on the flame star was gradually recovering. Of course, it wouldn't be possible for the power of heaven and earth on the flame star to recover to the level of the flame world in a short period of time. It would take a very long time. At this time, Yan Huatian, Hong Shang, and the others could no longer see the two infinite primes clearly. Only Gu Fei, an infinite prime, could see through the void and see the two fellows fighting in the small world. The flaming dance of life and the flaming dance of death were unleashed with all their might, and the sky was falling and the earth was cracking. Within the world they created, a terrifying destructive power spread out, and huge spatial cracks appeared in the void. These two little girls are quite capable. This was an extremely exciting show. Gu Fei's eyes shone brightly as he watched. Both the flaming dance of life and the flaming dance of death were created from the flame world's will of heaven and earth. They were twins, so it was easier said than done to determine a victor. There was no suspense in this battle. It still ended in a draw. With an earth-shattering rumble, the world created by the flaming dance of life and the flaming dance of death crumbled, and the destructive power shook the void. "What, do you want me to help you?" Gu Fei said to the flaming dance of life with a faint smile. "All right, let's work together. We can definitely take down my evil clone." The flaming dance of life said. The flaming dance of death was stunned when she heard this. If the two of them worked together, she would be in trouble. "Actually, I can help you, but it depends on whether you can promise me one thing." Gu Fei suddenly turned around and said to the flaming dance of death. "What?" The flaming dance of life was stunned. "Gu Fei, we share a life and death relationship. If anything happens to me, you will die with me." The flaming dance of life stared at Gu Fei and said coldly, "Damn, I almost forgot about that." Gu Fei smiled bitterly when he heard this. He shared a life and death relationship with the flaming dance of life. If anything happened to one of them, the other would die with him. "You share a life and death relationship?" The flaming dance of death's face paled even more. "It seems like there's no other way." Gu Fei looked at the flaming dance of death and said helplessly, "There's a way." The flaming dance of death suddenly said, "What do you have in mind?" Gu Fei asked curiously. "Run." As the death flame dance spoke, it instantly disappeared into the void. Gu Fei was speechless. This was a good idea. The flaming dance of life had not expected the flaming dance of death to escape. Chapter 5467. No one had expected the death flame dance to escape. "What should we do now?" Gu Fei asked the life flame dance. "What else can we do?" The life flame dance also disappeared into the void, leaving Gu Fei in a daze. These two girls, Gu Fei smiled bitterly. In a flash, he appeared in the sky above the blazing island. He waved his right hand and put away the primal chaos seal that was floating above the blazing island. At this moment, the netherworld sea was still surging. Gu Fei extended his right hand and pressed down gently. Then, the surface of the netherworld sea became as calm as a mirror. Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng were shocked when they saw this. Their master was too powerful. He could even suppress the surging netherworld sea with a single palm. Gu Fei entered the blazing island directly. Yin Huatian ran to the blazing island to pay a visit to Gu Fei. At this moment, the members of the fire tribe were overjoyed to have escaped death. All of them knelt at Gu Fei's feet and were in awe of Gu Fei. Hong Sheng also wanted to enter the island, but he was blocked by the array on the island. He couldn't enter at all and could only wait anxiously outside. "All right, all of you get up and follow me out of here." Gu Fei looked at the patriarchs of the fire tribe who were kneeling at his feet and said, "Yes, master." The members of the fire tribe were overjoyed because no one wanted to stay here. The blazing island was definitely not a treasure land. Although there was a small divine spring of life on the blazing island, it was too small to provide all the patriarchs of the fire tribe with the spiritual energy they needed to cultivate. In a place like Blazing Island, it was impossible for the Yin tribe to become truly powerful. If the fire tribe wanted to have a lasting legacy, they had to leave the netherworld sea and obtain a real divine spring of life. Only then would the fire tribe be strong forever. Of course, there was no such thing as eternal existence in this world. Even if the fire tribe successfully obtained a divine spring of life, they wouldn't be strong forever. "Let's go." Gu Fei waved his right hand and kept all the clansmen of the Flame Clan on Flame Island into his small world. Then, he soared into the sky and appeared in the sky above Flame Island. "Master, Hong Sheng greets you." Hong Sheng, who was blocked by the great array of the blazing island, rushed over and knelt before Gu Fei the moment he saw Gu Fei come out of the island. "Get up and come back with me." After saying that, Gu Fei disappeared into the void. So fast, Hong Sheng was shocked. Even he couldn't see how Gu Fei had walked or which direction he was heading in. In the Hongming Divine City, Gu Fei teleported to the space above the city. That's right, it was that fast. Gu Fei, who was at the major success stage of Supreme Ultimate Stage, could reach the place he wanted with just a thought. Even a half-step peerless realm expert like Hong Sheng had to fly for half a day to return to the Hongming Divine City from the Nethersea. This was the difference between a half-step peerless realm expert and a true peerless realm expert. Gu Fei appeared on the plaza of the Hongming Divine City. The layers of defensive formations were useless in front of him. None of the ancestors in the Hongming Divine City noticed Gu Fei's arrival. When Gu Fei waved his right hand, the Flame Clan's clansmen were released from his pocket dimension. Only then did the Grand Mist Divine Race's ancestors rush out of the city. Yin Huatian's aura was too strong. The moment he came out of Gu Fei's small world, his aura enveloped the entire Hongming Divine City. The sudden appearance of the tyrannical aura scared the ancestors of the Grand Mist Divine clan out of their wits, and they almost pissed their pants in fear. It's Yin Huatian's aura. How is this possible? The ancestors of the Hongming Divine Race were very familiar with Yin Huatian's aura. Yin Huatian actually killed his way into the city. The old ancestor has gone to the Nethersea. What should we do? The ancestors of the Hongming Divine Race panicked. Their number one ancestor, Hong Sheng, wasn't in the Hongming Divine City. No one in the city was a match for Yin Huatian. Its master, the ancestor of the Hongming Divine Race, Hong Sheng, saw Gu Fei standing in the sky above the plaza. All the ancestors of the Hongming Divine Race heaved a sigh of relief when they saw Gu Fei. As long as their master was around, Yin Huatian wouldn't dare to do anything to them. After all, the entire Hongming Divine Race had submitted to Gu Fei. It seemed like their master had brought the members of the Fire Tribe into the Hongming Divine City. Other than their master, who else could bring the members of the Fire Tribe into the Hongming Divine City without anyone knowing? At this time, the ancestors of the Grand Mist Divine Race rushed into the square. The members of the Fire Tribe and the ancestors of the Hongming Divine Race stood in a stalemate. Both sides were ready to fight at any moment. Yin Huatian looked at the ancestors of the Hongming Divine Race with disdain. In his eyes, these fellows were as weak as ants. He wanted to kill all the ancestors of the Hongming Divine Race, and this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. As the ancestor of the Hongming Divine Race, Hong Sheng wasn't in the city, No one in the city was a match for Yin Huatian. However, Yin Huatian knew that his master, Gu Fei, wouldn't allow him to kill all the ancestors of the Hongming divine race. If he dared to make a move, he would be the first to die. Therefore, no matter how much Yin Huatian wanted to kill all the ancestors of the Hongming divine race, he wouldn't dare to make a move unless he was tired of living. Yin Huatian didn't want to die. The grudges between your two races are written off. Are you willing to do so? Gu Fei stood in the sky above the plaza and looked down at the ancestors of the Hongming divine race. What? The ancestors of the Hongming divine race were shocked when they heard Huang Xiaolong's words. Their master wanted them to reconcile with the Hongming divine race? The ancestors of the Hongming divine race felt the same way. The grudges between them and the Hongming divine race were going to be written off with a single sentence from Gu Fei. The ancestors of the Hongming divine race were unwilling to accept this outcome. After all, the Hongming divine race had forced the Hongming divine race to venture into the Nethersea. If the Hongming divine race hadn't been lucky enough to find an island, they would have been annihilated. Many of the Hongming divine race's experts had died in the hands of the Hongming divine race's ancestors. The Hongming divine race and Hongming divine race had been enemies for generations, and they had been fighting for countless years. Initially, the Hongming divine race hadn't been able to defeat the Hongming divine race. The Hongming divine race had wanted to use this opportunity to annihilate the Hongming divine race. Who would have thought that Gu Fei would return? Chapter 5468. Gu Fei brought the entire Yin clan from the Nethersea back to Hongming Divine City. When the Yin clan appeared on the square of Hongming Divine City, the entire Hongming Divine City was in an uproar. All the clansmen of Hongming Divine Race were terrified. No one knew what had happened. When Yin Huatian's domineering aura enveloped the entire Grand Mist Divine City, even the ancestors of the Grand Mist Divine Race couldn't help but tremble in fear. Their number one ancestor, Hong Shang, wasn't in the city. The consequences of Yin Huatian's appearance in Hongming Divine City were obvious. After all, Hongming Divine Race had defeated the Yin clan and driven them into the Nethersea. They had almost been annihilated. The Hongming Divine Race and Yin clan were sworn enemies. The hatred between the two clans had reached the point of irreconcilable enmity. However, a variable had appeared, and it was none other than Gu Fei. Since the Hongming divine race had submitted to Gu Fei, the two clans couldn't take revenge on each other. At this time, the atmosphere in Hongming Divine City was tense. The ancestors of Hongming Divine Race and Yin clan were in a standoff. In terms of numbers, Hongming Divine Race had an absolute advantage. Including Yin Huatian, the Yin clan only had 7 ancestors. On the other hand, the Grand Mist Divine Race had more than a dozen ancestor-level existences. In terms of numbers, Hong Shang wasn't in the city. The problem was that Hong Shang wasn't in the city. Yin Huatian, the number 1 ancestor of the Hongming Divine Race, was here. Not to mention the dozen or so Grand Mist Divine Race's ancestors. Even if dozens of Grand Mist Divine Race's ancestors attacked together, they wouldn't be a match for Yin Huatian. This was the gap between them. An existence at the half-step boundless realm could crush the ancestors of Hongming Divine Race. Yin Huatian alone could annihilate all the clansmen in Hongming Divine City. Yin Huatian really wanted to attack, but he didn't dare to do so with Gu Fei around. How about we write off the enmity between your two clans? Gu Fei asked the ancestors of Hongming Divine Race and Yin clan. The members of the Grand Mist Divine Race and Fire clan were stupefied. The two clans had been fighting for countless years, and countless people had died at each other's hands. How could this feud be resolved with just a few words from Gu Fei? However, since their master had said so, even if they were 1,000 or 10,000 times unwilling, they wouldn't dare to say half a no. What? None of you are convinced. How could Gu Fei not see their unwillingness? I wouldn't dare. The people from the Yin clan and Grand Mist Divine Race lowered their heads. Even Yin Huatian, a half-step peerless expert, didn't dare to let out a fart. You say you don't dare, but you're very unhappy, aren't you? Gu Fei said indifferently. Beads of cold sweat formed on the foreheads of the Grand Mist Divine Race and Fire clan's ancestors. Their master was an invincible existence. Their life and death were in the hands of their master. If Gu Fei wanted to kill them, he only needed to think about it. Since that's the case, I'll give you a chance to settle your hatred. Gu Fei said solemnly. Master, this. Yin Huatian and the others didn't know what Gu Fei wanted to do, and they felt uneasy. The Grand Mist Divine Race's ancestors were also at a loss. One had to know that the grudge between the Flame Clan and the Grand Mist Divine Clan wasn't something that could be resolved so easily. How about this? I'll set up a battle stage in the square, and each of you will send out 3 people to fight 3 rounds of life and death battles. All grudges will be resolved in these 3 battles. Gu Fei's expression turned solemn as he swept his gaze over everyone. The Grand Mist Divine Race and Fire Clan's ancestors were dumbfounded. What? You don't agree? Gu Fei's expression turned ugly. No, we'll do it this way. Yin Huatian quickly said. Very well, what about you guys? Gu Fei looked at the group of Grand Mist Divine Race's ancestors. Master, our ancestor isn't here. This, Hong Shan, one of the Grand Mist Divine Race's ancestors, said cautiously. We will obey Master's orders. Right at this moment, a voice rang out. Then, a figure descended from the sky and landed in front of Gu Fei. He knelt before Gu Fei. It's the ancestor. The Grand Mist Divine Race's ancestors were pleasantly surprised when they saw the newcomer. Their ancestor had returned. The newcomer was Hong Shang, the ancestor of the Grand Mist Divine Race. He had rushed back from the Nethersea and finally arrived at the Grand Mist Divine City. Very well, it's decided then, Gu Fei said as he disappeared into the void. Hong Shang, Yin Huatian. On the square, Yin Huatian and Hong Shang glared at each other, and strong killing intent erupted from their bodies. They were enemies who would not rest until one of them was dead. The 2 camps were at daggers drawn, but no one dared to make a move. Tomorrow will be the day you die. Yin Huatian gritted his teeth as he stared at Hong Shang. Humph. The one who dies tomorrow will be you, Hong Shang sneered. The 2 half-step Peerless Divine Race experts stared at each other for more than 2 hours before Hong Shang left with the rest of the Grand Mist Divine Race's ancestors. As for the Yin Clan, they set up camp on the square. At this time, the Grand Mist Divine City was bustling with noise and excitement. Countless Grand Mist Divine Race members in the city knew that the Yin Clan had arrived. The Yin Clan was in the city square. Countless members of the Grand Mist Divine Race rushed to the square in a frenzy. However, they were stopped at the entrance of the square. The hatred between the Grand Mist Divine Race and the Yin Clan was too deep. Countless Grand Mist Divine Race members cursed and wanted to rush into the square to fight the Yin Clan members. However, every entrance of the square was guarded by an ancestor of the Grand Mist Divine Race. No one could barge into the square. TCH, you bunch of fools. Come in and fight me if you have the guts. Some of the Yin Clan members shouted at the Grand Mist Divine Race members standing outside the square. What? The Grand Mist Divine Race members standing outside the square became even more furious. Ancestor, let us go in and kill them. Ancestor, we have to kill these bastards to avenge our fallen clansmen. The Grand Mist Divine Race members standing outside the square cried out in grief. All of you, go back. Hong Shan, who was guarding one of the entrances, roared at his clansmen. Ancestor. The Grand Mist Divine Race members' eyes turned red. I said, all of you, go back. Hong Shan roared. If he allowed his clansmen to barge into the square and fight the Yin clan members, they would definitely anger Gu Fei. That wouldn't be a good thing for the entire Grand Mist Divine Race. With Gu Fei's cultivation, he could annihilate the entire Grand Mist Divine Race in an instant. He could also subdue other powerful clans for his use. The 2 powerful clans provoked each other, and the hatred between the 2 clans intensified. At this time, Gu Fei was resting in the main hall of the City Lord's Manor. Chapter 5469. No one could change Gu Fei's mind. That night was a sleepless night for everyone in Hongmeng City. After tomorrow, the grudge between the Yin clan and the primordial divine race would vanish like smoke in thin air. Gu Fei wanted to settle the grudge between the Yin clan and the primordial divine race in 3 matches. No matter who won, the Yin clan and the primordial divine race would not be allowed to seek revenge after tomorrow. This was Gu Fei's chance to settle the grudge between the Yin clan and the primordial divine race. No matter how fierce the conflict between the two clans had been, everything would be written off after tomorrow. Old ancestor, how could you agree to Master's request? In a pavilion in Hongmeng City, the first ancestor of the primordial divine race, Hong Sheng, sat on the main seat, while the other ancestors of the primordial divine race sat on both sides of him. Hong Fei, one of the ancestors, spoke up. All the patriarchs present looked at Hong Sheng, who was sitting at the head of the table. Hong Sheng didn't speak, but Hong Mie, who was sitting beside him, spoke. You bunch of fools. How could the old ancestor not agree to that? Hong Mie roared at the ancestors in front of him. All the ancestors present fell silent. Who didn't know how strong Gu Fei was? Moreover, their lives were in Gu Fei's hands. If Gu Fei wanted to kill them, it would only take a single thought. Then who should we send? Hong Du, another ancestor of the primordial divine race, asked cautiously, Isn't that obvious? The old ancestor will naturally participate, and I will also participate. Hong Mie swept a glance at everyone as he spoke coldly. Out of the 3 slots, they had occupied 2 of them. However, none of the ancestors present dared to express any dissatisfaction. Hong Sheng was the first ancestor of the primordial divine race, while Hong Mie was the second ancestor. As the first and second ancestors of the primordial divine race, they were naturally the most qualified to represent the primordial divine race. As for the third candidate, whoever was stronger would go. Other than the first and second ancestor, who was the strongest person in the Grand Mist Divine Clan, all the ancestors present wanted to represent the Grand Mist Divine Clan in this battle because they knew that this would be the last time they fought against the Yin clan. Because no one dared to go against Gu Fei. Whether it was the Flame clan or the Grand Mist clan, who dared to disobey Gu Fei. At this moment, the entire place quietened down. The dozen or so old ancestors all looked at their old ancestor. The first ancestor of the primordial divine tribe had lived for countless years and was the most senior existence in the primordial divine tribe. Even the second ancestor, who was 2 generations younger than the first ancestor, had to address Hong Sheng as master. There was no need to mention the other ancestors of the Grand Mist Divine Clan, who would represent the Grand Mist Divine race. At this time, even the first ancestor's words were useless. Whoever was the strongest would go. All of you, enter my inner world and fight it out, Hong Sheng said as he waved his right hand. All the ancestors of the Grand Mist Divine tribe, except for the second ancestor, disappeared from their seats. While the Grand Mist Divine tribe was choosing who to fight, the Yin clan's ancestors had gathered in the public square of the Grand Mist Divine city. They also wanted to choose who would fight against the Grand Mist Divine tribe. The Yin clan's first ancestor, Yin Huatian, had to fight, and there was no suspense. However, the remaining 2 people were difficult to choose. This was because Gu Fei had set a rule that they could only fight against the Grand Mist Divine tribe in 3 battles. Regardless of the outcome of these 3 battles, the grudge between them and the Grand Mist Divine tribe would be written off. Who would dare to violate the rule set by Gu Fei? Therefore, the Yin clan and the Grand Mist Divine tribe placed great importance on this battle, as the significance of this battle was really different from the past. This wasn't just a matter of victory or defeat, but it also concerned the honor of each race. In fact, even though Gu Fei had set the rule of 3 battles to settle the grudge between the Yin clan and the Grand Mist Divine tribe, in reality, this battle also concerned who would become Gu Fei's #1 subordinate. If the Grand Mist Divine tribe lost, in Gu Fei's eyes, they would be inferior to the Yin clan. It was the same for the Yin clan. How could they be inferior to the Grand Mist Divine tribe? Old ancestor, you should be the one to choose. The Yin clan's ancestor, Yin Hui, said. The other Yin clan's ancestors also looked at Yin Huatian. The current Yin clan strength was much weaker than the Grand Mist Divine tribe. Currently, the Yin clan only had 7 ancestors left. The Yin clan's second and third ancestor had died in battle. Although the Yin clan's first ancestor Yin Huatian's cultivation was in the half-step peerless realm, none of the other ancestors had reached the major completion of the eternal realm. On the other hand, the Grand Mist Divine tribe had the second ancestor who had reached the major completion of the eternal realm. The Yin clan's ancestors knew very well that whoever went against the Grand Misdivine tribe's second ancestor, Yin Mia, would only have one ending, death. Old ancestor, let me go. The Yin clan's ancestor, Yin Ming, suddenly said. He only had a low-level eternal realm cultivation. If he went against Hong Mia, he wouldn't even be able to block a single move from Hong Mia. He would be killed instantly. If Yin Ming went out, he would be sending himself to his death. The other Yin clan's ancestors stared at Yin Ming with grief and indignation. Yin Ming, you shouldn't be sending yourself to death like this. The Yin clan's ancestor Yin Hui said angrily, That's right. Even if we know we're going to lose, we can't let them win so easily. The Yin clan's ancestor Yin Song roared, Ancestors, let me go. If I go, our clan's losses can be minimized. Yin Ming insisted. He was only a low-level eternal realm expert. It didn't matter if he died. This way, he could let the mid-level eternal realm ancestors live. Yin Ming, you. Only now did everyone understand what Yin Ming meant. He was going to die, but it was to preserve the Yin clan's strength. Yin Ming had no choice but to make such a sacrifice. Do you really want to do this? Yin Huatian stared at Yin Ming with a solemn expression. I hope that old ancestor can fulfill my wish. Yin Ming's attitude was firm. Since you insist, I have nothing else to say. Yin Huatian sighed. It was a little difficult to choose who the last representative of the Yin clan would be, because in the Yin clan, there were two old ancestors with mid-level eternal realm cultivation. These two old ancestors were Yin San and Yin Lian. I'll go. I've cultivated longer than you, and my combat power is stronger than yours. Yin San said to Yin Lian, Uncle Sin, you can't say that. I think I'm stronger than you. Yin Lian said confidently. Neither of them backed down. Both of them wanted to fight. All right, stop fighting. The two of you, enter my inner world and have a fight. Whoever wins will be the one to fight. Yin Huatian didn't waste any words and directly threw the two into his inner world. The other old ancestors were speechless. Chapter 5470. Gu Fei was resting in the city lord's manor of Hongming Divine City. The moon was bright and the stars were sparse. At this moment, the gates of the city lord's mansion's main hall were suddenly pushed open from the outside. Then, a figure stumbled into the main hall. Gu Fei opened his eyes, and he could smell the scent of alcohol coming from the person in front of him. What is this place? That person was quite drunk. After walking into the hall, he looked around in a daze. Then, he saw Gu Fei sitting on the throne in the middle of the hall. Who are you? Why are you sitting on the throne? The purple-clad young lady asked loudly as she looked at Gu Fei on the throne. Gu Fei frowned. Judging from the young lady's attire, she should be from the Hongming Divine Clan. Moreover, she was a beautiful young lady. However, the drunken beauty didn't put Gu Fei in her eyes at all. Brat, how dare you sit on the city lord's throne? Are you tired of living? Get down here right now. The purple-clothed girl shouted at Gu Fei, who was sitting on the throne. Gu Fei didn't say anything. Why aren't you getting down? The drunken young lady said angrily. In her mind, the city lord's throne should only belong to the first ancestor of the Hongming Divine Clan, Hong Sheng. After all, Hong Sheng wasn't only the first ancestor of the Hongming Divine Clan, but he was also the city lord of Hongming Divine City. In the entire Hongming Divine Clan, only Hong Sheng was qualified to be the city lord of Hongming Divine City. This little girl, Gu Fei, was speechless. What was wrong with the people from the Hongming Divine Clan? How could they let this little girl barge in? Didn't I say that no one is allowed in? Why? Why aren't you getting down? Do you want me to pull you down? The purple-clad young lady strode towards Gu Fei, stood in front of Gu Fei, and grabbed Gu Fei's collar. Gu Fei was a little confused. Who would dare to be disrespectful to him in this place? Especially those from the Grand Mist Divine race. Even their number one ancestor, Hong Sheng, had to be respectful and careful in front of him. He didn't even dare to let out a fart. He was really willing to sacrifice himself to drag Gu Fei down from his throne. Of course, if this girl in purple was sober, she would never dare to be presumptuous in front of Gu Fei. But now, she was drunk and didn't know what she was doing. The purple-clothed girl grabbed Gu Fei's collar and pulled hard, but Gu Fei, who was sitting on the throne, did not move at all. Io, why aren't you getting down here? You've grown a lot of guts. Hong Zue was really drunk this time. She was a wine lover in the Hongming divine race. She was really depressed tonight, so she barged into Hong Shang's wine cellar and drank as much as she could. The battle between the Grand Mist divine race and the Fire Clan would begin tomorrow. Although this battle wouldn't affect the survival of the Grand Mist divine race, it would affect the rise and fall of the Grand Mist divine race. If they won the battle tomorrow, the Grand Mist divine race would continue to prosper. However, if they lost, the outcome would be different. The Fire Clan had been suppressed by the Grand Mist divine race for thousands of years. In the past few hundred years, the Fire Clan had holed up in the Nethersea and didn't dare to come out. If the Fire Clan won the battle tomorrow, the Fire Clan would be able to make a name for themselves. With Gu Fei around, the Grand Mist divine race wouldn't have an easy time if the Fire Clan won. Right at that moment, an angry roar came from Hong Shang's wine cellar. Who was it? Who destroyed my immortal wine? The patriarchs outside were trembling in fear. When Hong Zue realized that she couldn't pull Gu Fei down with one hand, she used both hands to grab Gu Fei's collar and try to pull Gu Fei down. However, Gu Fei didn't budge an inch. Not only was Hong Zue unable to pull Gu Fei down, but she also threw herself onto Gu Fei's body. Gu Fei was about to explode. He couldn't deny that Hong Zue was really beautiful. However, Hong Zue's entire body reeked of alcohol, and her clothes were wet. Hong Zue threw herself onto Gu Fei's body, drenching Gu Fei's clothes. The smell of alcohol mixed with a delicate fragrance wafted into Gu Fei's nose. Gu Fei's heart couldn't help but flutter when he felt a warm and fragrant body in his arms. It wasn't that Gu Fei didn't have any female confidence. However, apart from his wife, Yin he had never been so close to any woman before. He felt his face heat up. Gu Fei was an old antique, but he didn't seem to have much experience in the matters between men and women. He and Yin didn't seem to have experienced many twists and turns in their relationship. Gu Fei wanted to push Hong Zue away, but he didn't dare touch her with his hands. Io, little brother, why are you blushing? Hong Zue suddenly touched Gu Fei's face as she spoke. What? Gu Fei was depressed. This little girl had actually called him little brother? He had cultivated for countless years and was truly an old antique. Was this little girl teasing him? What are you guys doing? Suddenly, a voice was heard from the main door of the main hall. Gu Fei looked over and saw that it was Hong Shang. At this time, Hong Shang was stunned by the scene in front of him. His eyes widened so much that they almost fell out of their sockets. Master! Hong Zue Hong Shang was dumbfounded. Hurry up and pull this crazy girl away. Gu Fei roared at Hong Shang. Yes, yes, yes. Hong Shang rushed forward and pulled Hong Zue away. Old ancestor? Why are you here? Old ancestor, this little brother is very cute. Hong Zue said to Hong Shang with a drunken smile. Hong Shang didn't dare to say a word, and his forehead was covered in cold sweat. He was afraid that Gu Fei would slap them to death in anger. In front of Gu Fei, they were as weak as ants. At this time, Gu Fei was speechless when he heard Hong Zue's words. Hong Shang's heart collapsed. My little ancestor, how dare you act like a drunkard in front of Master? Are you tired of living? Even if you don't want to live, I still want to live. Master, I will take my leave first, Hong Shang said as he pulled Hong Zue out of the main hall. Gu Fei sat on the throne and didn't say a word. No one knew what he was thinking. Little brother, I will come to play with you tomorrow. Hong Zue shouted at Gu Fei, who was sitting on the throne. Gu Fei's face was so gloomy that it looked like it was about to drip water. Hong Shang was scared half to death, and his legs were trembling. He pulled Hong Zue out of the main hall. When they walked out of the main hall, they saw the ancestors of the Grand Mist Divine tribe standing outside. All the ancestors of the Grand Mist Divine race were dumbstruck by the scene that had taken place in the main hall. They were dumbstruck, especially Hong Zue's grandfather, Hong Zhan, who almost fainted. Chapter 5471. Hong Zue was in big trouble. She dared to flirt with Gu Fei while she was drunk. The entire city was in an uproar when the news spread. Who was Gu Fei? He was the master of the Grand Mist divine race. Hong Zue was audacious enough to flirt with Gu Fei. The entire Grand Mist divine race was terrified. If Hong Zue angered Gu Fei, the entire Grand Mist divine race would disappear from this world. With Gu Fei's cultivation, annihilating the entire Grand Mist divine race was a piece of cake. While the primordial chaos divine race was once one of the 10 strongest factions in the flame world, the primordial chaos divine race was nothing in Gu Fei's eyes. Hong Zhan was Hong Zue's grandfather. After settling Hong Zue down, he went to the main hall and knelt with a plop outside. He had come to beg for forgiveness from Gu Fei. He had no choice but to come. If Gu Fei really got angry, the Grand Mist divine race wouldn't even need to fight the Fire Tribe tomorrow. Gu Fei was still sitting on the throne in the main hall. His eyes were closed as he meditated, as though nothing had happened. However, when Hong Zue lay on top of him, a ripple of emotion rose in the depths of his heart. He wasn't angry, and he had no intention of settling the score with Hong Zue. However, since Hong Zhan was kneeling outside, Gu Fei wouldn't be able to do anything about it if he wanted to kneel, right? If Hong Zhan, who was kneeling outside the main hall, knew what Gu Fei was thinking, he would probably have a mental breakdown. While the entire Grand Mist divine race was feeling uneasy, the Fire Tribe that had set up camp in the square of the Grand Mist divine city was overjoyed. Haha, the Grand Mist divine race is really courting death? They dared to flirt with our master. Everyone in the Yin clan rejoiced in the Yin clan's misfortune. They had been hunted by the Grand Mist divine race for the past several hundred years. If Gu Fei hadn't returned, the Yin clan wouldn't have left the Nether Sea. Of course, if the Death Chief Sovereign in the Netherworld Sea continued to sleep, the Flame race would still be able to survive in the Netherworld Sea. However, it was impossible for the Yin tribe to continue staying in the Netherworld Sea. This was because Death Flame Dance had awakened from her slumber. The heavens are really helping our race, an old ancestor of the Flame race said excitedly. Don't be silly. Everything depends on strength. Yin Huatian said indifferently. He was very clear that the reason the Grand Mist Divine Clan was fine until now was that the Master had no intention of punishing the Grand Mist Divine Clan. Hence, the battle tomorrow was still an incomparably difficult battle. It was also a battle that would decide the fate of the Yin clan. After hearing Yin Huatian's words, the group of old ancestors of the Yin clan became silent. News of the battle between the Flame clan and the Grand Mist Divine race spread like wildfire. This made the other major forces on the Flame Star very curious. Was the Flame clan stronger, or was it the Grand Mist Divine race that was stronger than the Flame clan? In fact, it was very difficult for the Flame clan to make a comeback. The other major forces on the Flame Star weren't optimistic about the Flame clan's chances. After all, the Flame clan had been hunted down by the Grand Mist Divine race like stray dogs. They had even been forced to flee to the Netherworld Sea. The Netherworld Sea wasn't a good place. It was filled with the death chi of the entire Flame Star and gave birth to many incomparably powerful undead creatures. The battle between Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng in the Netherworld Sea had alarmed all the undead creatures in the Netherworld Sea. However, Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng were both experts in the half-step peerless power realm. The aura that erupted from their bodies was enough to intimidate countless undead creatures. The battle between Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng had alarmed the Death Lord, Death Flame Dance, who was in a deep slumber. That kid is still in the mood to do this? Yinwu also received the news. In the divine city of the Grand Mist Demon race, Yinwu was the supreme ruler. Not only had she subdued the Grand Mist Demon race, but she had also subdued the Grand Mist Human race. Her subordinates were much stronger than Gu Fei. One had to know that the Grand Mist Demon race and the Grand Mist Human race were stronger than the Grand Mist Divine race and the Flame race. The Grand Mist Demon Emperor of the Grand Mist Demon race was the #1 ancestor of the Grand Mist Demon race. He had the highest seniority, cultivation base, and battle prowess in the Grand Mist Demon race. Now, this expert whose name shook the entire Flame Star was standing cautiously under the throne. He didn't even dare to raise his head, let alone look at Yin Wu. Master, should we go and watch the show? The Grand Mist Demon Emperor asked cautiously. Watch the show? Yin Wu, who was sitting on the throne, fell into deep thought. Yeah, we can also get a feel for the Grand Mist Divine Race and the Flame Race. The Grand Mist Demon Emperor added. What do I need to get a feel for? Yin Wu was displeased. She used to be the ruler of the Flame World, and now she was one of the rulers of the Flame Star. With her cultivation base and battle prowess, who couldn't she destroy? Of course, it was impossible for her to destroy Gu Fei. One had to know that she and Gu Fei shared the same fate. If Gu Fei died, she would be buried with him. However, if she died, Gu Fei wouldn't be able to live either. Yes, yes, yes. This lowly one said something wrong. Please punish me, master. The Grand Mist Demon Emperor was so frightened that he fell to his knees with a thud. His body trembled uncontrollably. He wasn't pretending. He was really afraid of Yin Wu. When Yin Wu had subdued the Grand Mist Demon Race, she had tortured all the ancestors of the Grand Mist Demon Race, especially the Grand Mist Demon Emperor. He had been tortured miserably. Get out. Let me have some peace and quiet. Yin Wu said indifferently. Yes, yes, yes. The primordial Chaos Demon Emperor actually rolled out of the main hall. He was the Demon Emperor of the Flame Star, but he was acting like a lowly dog in front of Yin Wu. If others were to find out, wouldn't their eyeballs fall to the ground? It couldn't be helped. This was the tragedy of the weak. The strong could control everything about the weak, including their life and death. Especially on the Flame Star, the strong could obtain everything, while the weak couldn't even control their own lives. This was the cruel reality of the cultivation world. Yin Wu wouldn't let her subordinates do as they pleased. In fact, the Grand Mist Demon Race and the Flame Race could be considered lucky. They had a good master. In the Grand Mist Demon Race, who would dare to offend Yin Wu? Yin Wu wasn't a human. She didn't have human emotions and apprehensions. She used to be the ruler of the Flame World. She could annihilate anyone she wanted. To her, annihilating the Grand Mist Demon Race wasn't a big deal. At most, she would subjugate other forces. However, to the Grand Mist Demon Race, it was a disaster. That Gu Fei is really bored. Yin Wu wasn't interested in the battle between the Grand Mist Demon Race and the Flame Race. In her eyes, it was just a fight between ants. Even though she wasn't interested, it didn't mean that others weren't interested. The various forces on the Flame Star sent more spies to the Grand Mist Divine City. Soon, the Grand Mist Divine City became the focus of the various forces on the Flame Star. Time flew. For the Grand Mist Demon Race and the Flame Race, a long night had finally passed. Chapter 5472. There was no such thing as day and night on the Flame Star. This was because the Flame Star was located in the boundless chaos. There was no sun, moon, or stars on the Flame Star. However, there were remnants of the laws of heaven and earth operating on the Flame Star. Therefore, the Flame Star would be shrouded in darkness from time to time before it would turn bright again. The cycle of darkness and light was like the night and day of the Flame Star. Just as the Flame Star shone brightly once again, a battle stage descended from the sky and landed in the middle of the square with a loud boom. The entire square shook violently, and cracks appeared one after another on the ground around the fighting ring. The members of the Yin clan who had set up camp in the square jumped in fright. It's finally starting. The Yin clan's ancestor, Yin Huatian, walked out of his tent. The group of Yin clan's ancestors followed behind him with solemn expressions on their faces. At this time, there was a commotion outside the square. The sealed entrance to the square was opened, and Hong Shang, the ancestor of the Yin clan, led the other ancestors into the square. There were many members of the Grand Mist Divine clan in the city, but no one was allowed to enter the square except for the high-ranking members of the Grand Mist Divine clan. Hong Shang, you're very punctual. Yin Huatian led the Yin clan's ancestors to greet Hong Shang. I want to send you to hell as soon as possible, so I naturally have to be punctual. Hong Shang said coldly. Haha, why don't I send you to hell? Yin Huatian roared with laughter. Is that so? Then let's see who will have the last laugh. Hong Shang sneered. He hadn't lived in vain all these years. However, what Hong Shang didn't know was that Yin Huatian hadn't lived in vain all these years. There was also a divine spring of life on the Flaming Island in the Nethersea. Of course, although the divine spring of life on the Flaming Island was just a small spring, It was just enough to provide Yin Huatian with enough spiritual energy. Therefore, Yin Huatian's cultivation base wasn't far behind Hong Sheng's. This would definitely be a fierce battle. Oomph! Yin Huatian sneered and wanted to say something. However, at this moment, a figure appeared on the battle platform. Their master had arrived. "Greetings, master." Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng hastily led their clansmen to kneel before Gu Fei. "Get up." Gu Fei stood on the battle platform with his hands clasped behind his back, looking at Hong Sheng and Yin Huatian indifferently. "Yes, master." Hong Sheng and Yin Huatian stood up with their clansmen. "All right, each of you send out 3 people, and then we'll begin." After saying that, Gu Fei disappeared from the fighting ring. When he reappeared, he was sitting on a throne, floating in the air. The people from the Flame Clan were naturally Yin Huatian, the early-stage Eternal Yin Ming, and the middle-stage Eternal Yin Senator Yin Sin and Yin Lian had previously fought in Yin Huatian's inner world. In the end, Yin Sun had won. As such, the representative of the Yin clan was naturally Yin Senator on the side of the primordial god race. Hong Sheng and the second old ancestor, Primordial Extermination, appeared. Primordial Extermination was an eternal expert. The other ancestors of the primordial chaos divine race also fought in Hong Sheng's inner world. In the end, Hong Du, a mid-level eternal realm expert, emerged victorious. Swish! Hong Du, the ancestor of the primordial chaos divine race, leaped onto the fighting ring. The moment he entered the fighting ring, it was as if he had entered another world. The space on the fighting ring suddenly became incomparably huge. Even an amazing expert at the half-step infinite realm could attack without any scruples here. Trash of the Yin clan. Who wants to fight me? Forget about Yin Huatian. You are our old ancestor. Hong Du shouted at the group of Yin clan old ancestors. What did you say? He's too arrogant. The Yin clan old ancestors were furious. I'll send you on your way. Yin Sin, a mid-level eternal realm expert, soared into the sky and landed directly on the fighting ring. When he entered the fighting ring, he was also shocked. Haha, did I hear wrong? You want to send me on my way? Hong Du laughed disdainfully. At that moment, Gu Fei, who was in the sky, watched this scene calmly. The cultivation of these two people was similar, so it would be difficult for them to determine a winner. Of course, with Gu Fei's cultivation, he could tell who was stronger at a glance. For Gu Fei, such a battle was meaningless. How boring. Gu Fei suddenly saw a purple-clothed girl hiding behind Hong Zhan. The purple-clothed girl hid behind Hong Zhan and peeked at Gu Fei. When she saw Gu Fei looking at her, she hurriedly hid behind Hong Zhan. Thinking about what happened last night, even Gu Fei felt a little uneasy. At this time, Hong Du and Yin Sin had already started fighting on the fighting ring. The people outside the fighting ring couldn't even sense a trace of Yuan Qi fluctuation. The fighting ring actually isolated all Yuan Qi fluctuations. Even the Yuan Qi of an eternal realm expert was isolated by the fighting ring. This shocked the people outside the fighting ring. A mid-level eternal realm expert against a mid-level eternal realm expert. Hong Du and Yin Sen fought fiercely on the fighting ring. The two were evenly matched. Soon, their clothes were dyed red with blood. Bam! Boom! Hong Du's fist landed on Yin Sen's shoulder. The sound of bones breaking immediately came from Yin Sen's shoulder. At the same time, Yin Sen kicked Hong Du's waist fiercely, sending him flying. The sound of bones breaking also came from Hong Du's body. The people outside the fighting ring were extremely nervous when they saw this scene. Haha, Hong Du is dead. Yin Ming, the old ancestor of the Yin clan, laughed. Yin Sen's combat experience was really rich. He sacrificed his right arm in exchange for a kick that broke Hong Du's spine. The moment Hong Du's spine was broken, his entire lower body was directly paralyzed. Of course, once one reached the eternal realm, as long as one's spirit soul remained, Hong Du could recover no matter how badly injured he was. Even if his spine was broken by Yin San, he could still repair it and return to his peak state. However, this would take time. Yin San would never allow him to repair his injured body. Kill! Yin San roared. The next moment, he kicked at Hong Du with all his might. Countless leg shadows suddenly appeared in the void. Damn it! Hong Du was filled with hatred. Yin Sen's move just now was too ruthless. Hongdu had actually traded his arm for his legs. Now that Hongdu's spine was broken by Yin Sen, his legs were naturally crippled. Primordial Chaos Divine Fist. Hongdu roared and punched at Yin Senator. Countless fist shadows appeared in the void and collided with Yin Sen's leg shadows. The dull sound of the collision kept ringing. Chapter 54-73. The battle between the Yin clan and the Grand Mist Divine Race had finally begun. The first battle was between Yin Sen and Hongdu. Both Yin Sen and Hongdu were in the mid-level Eternal Realm, and they were evenly matched. It would be difficult to determine a victor in this battle. However, no one had expected that Yin Sen would break Hongdu's spine and cripple his legs not long after they started fighting, even though his right arm was crippled. The group of Grand Mist Divine Clan's ancestors standing outside the battle stage was shocked by Huang Xiaolong's ruthlessness. Yin Sen had rich battle experience, and he knew that even if he could defeat Hongdu, it would be a Pyrrhic victory. Hence, he fought with his life on the line. Kill! Yin Sen roared as he lashed out with his legs. Countless afterimages of his legs flew towards Hongdu at breakneck speed. The afterimages of Yin Sen's kicks filled the battle stage. Grand Mist Divine Spring. Hongdu's spine had been broken by Yin Sen, and his legs were temporarily crippled. However, he still had his fists, and he threw out the Grand Mist Divine Spring. Countless afterimages of fists collided with Yin Sen's afterimages in an instant, and dense sounds of collision rang out. Origin energy exploded, and the void shook. However, when mid-level Eternal Realm origin energy exploded on the battle stage, it was completely neutralized by the power of the battle stage. Not a single strand of origin energy could be felt from the battle stage. On the battle stage, Yin Sen and Hongdu fought with their lives on the line, and blood splattered all over the battle stage. Outside the battle stage, the members of the Yin clan and Grand Mist Divine Race were incomparably nervous. This battle would directly affect the future of their entire race. Gu Fei was probably the only one watching from the sidelines. In truth, he wasn't that concerned about the outcome of the battle between the Yin clan and Grand Mist Divine Race. These two races had submitted to him, and they were his subordinates. Gu Fei didn't want to see the Fire Clan and the Grand Mist Divine Race fighting against each other. It would only weaken the two clans' overall strength. If the Yin clan and Grand Mist Divine Race were to fight each other, who would help him? Bang! Boom! Two muffled sounds resounded on the battle stage. In the next moment, two figures were sent flying. Yin Sen landed on the ground, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. His chest was stained with blood, and it was a ghastly sight. He slumped to the ground. The clansmen of the Yin clan were dumbfounded when they saw this. What was going on? Yin Sen was defeated? On the other side, Hongdu fell to the ground and kept coughing up blood. Let's go to hell, Yin Sen roared. In the next moment, the space between his eyebrows suddenly split open. A divine soul rushed out and pounced on Hongdu then. Hongdu's body exploded on the spot. That's right, exploding on the spot, destroying both his body and soul. However, a faint spiritual fluctuation did not dissipate. What infuriated the members of the Grand Mist Divine Race was that the spiritual fluctuation that did not dissipate was Yin Sen's. Yin Sen did not die. Of course, even if Yin Sen, who had caused Hongdu to explode on the spot, did not die, he was half dead. Almost all of his cultivation had dissipated. At this moment, Yin Sen could be said to be crippled. For this battle, the Saint of the Flame tribe, Gu Fei's majestic voice came down from the sky. The members of the Grand Mist Divine Race clenched their fists tightly as they glared at Yin Senator. They wished they could tear Yin Sen into a million pieces. In truth, even the Yin clan's ancestors weren't optimistic about Yin Sen's chances of winning. However, no one had expected Yin Sen to be so ruthless. Not only was he ruthless to his enemies, but he was even more ruthless to himself. Even Gu Fei felt that Yin Sen had truly gone mad, because this was a method of mutual destruction. If he was not careful, even his own body and soul would be destroyed. However, it was obvious that Yin Sen had one. The one who had died was Hongdu, and he had survived. Of course, even though he had survived, his cultivation base had almost dissipated. His soul had almost been unable to return to his physical body. He had died along with Hongdu. In fact, Yin Sin didn't know if he could survive. However, in this battle, it was either Hongdu or Yin Sin who would die. Only one of them could live. Yin Sin won. The Yin clan's camp was in an uproar. Everyone was extremely excited. The Yin clan's first ancestor, Yin Huatian, personally stepped onto the battle stage and carried the heavily injured Yin Sin down. "You're our hero." Yin Huatian's eyes were brimming with tears of excitement. The Yin clan had been suppressed by the Grand Mist Divine race for a long time. The Yin clan's ancestors were either dead or injured. Including the first ancestor, Yin Huatian, the entire Yin clan only had 7 ancestors. The Yin clan's strength had never been weakened to this extent. The Yin clan had been stifled for too long. This battle had ignited the Yin clan's fighting spirit and their morale soared. Moreover, the Yin clan had already won the first battle. As long as they won the second battle, they wouldn't have to fight the third battle. Once the Yin clan defeated the Grand Mist Divine race, the Yin clan would naturally be able to suppress the Grand Mist Divine race. This was extremely important to the Yin clan. Damn it! At this time, the Grand Mist Divine race's camp was filled with killing intent. Every member of the Grand Mist Divine race's eyes were bloodshot. Hongdu had actually lost. Moreover, he had lost thoroughly. To them, having their bodies and souls destroyed was the most thorough way to die. There was no other way to die more thoroughly than having one's body and soul destroyed. Gu Fei looked at the scene coldly, but he didn't make a move. This was the grudge between the Yin clan and the Grand Mist Divine race. He wanted to resolve the grudge between the Yin clan and the Grand Mist Divine race through this battle. Yin clan's trash. Who dares to fight me? The second ancestor of the Grand Mist Divine race leaped onto the battle stage and roared at the Yin clan. Hongdu's death had infuriated him. Killing intent surged from his body, and even the sky above the Grand Mist Divine city changed color. "Old ancestor, let me go." Yin Ming looked at Yin Huatian and said, "No, we'll admit defeat for this match." Yin Huatian gritted his teeth as he looked at Hong Mia. "Old ancestor, how can I, Yin Ming, admit defeat? I, Yin Ming, am not a coward." Yin Ming said coldly, "Don't talk nonsense with me. I want you to stay alive and make a greater contribution to the Yin clan. Don't throw away your life in vain. Do you understand?" Yin Huatian roared at Yin Ming. Hong Mia was the second ancestor of the Grand Mist Divine race. His cultivation had reached the major success stage of the Eternal Realm, whereas Yin Ming was just a low-level Eternal Realm brat. It was like a dragon in the sky and an ant on the ground. The difference was too great. If Yin Ming stepped onto the battle stage, he would definitely be killed by Hong Mia. That would be a free death. Yin Huatian didn't want the Yin clan's ancestor to die in vain. "You want to admit defeat? Did I hear wrongly?" Chapter 5474. The battle between the Yin clan and the Grand Mist Divine race began in the Grand Mist City. The purpose of this battle was to resolve the grudge between the Yin clan and the Grand Mist Divine race. The battle was divided into 3 rounds. The first round was between the Yin clan's Yin San and the Grand Mist Divine race's Hongdu. In the end, Yin Sun, who wasn't favored to win, defeated Hongdu of the Grand Mist Divine race. Yin Sun won the first battle, and the Yin race won the first battle. The Flame clan's victory had greatly boosted their morale. On the other hand, the Grand Mist Divine race's morale had fallen to rock bottom after their ancestor, Hongdu, had been annihilated. This wasn't a good thing for the entire Grand Mist Divine race. However, when the second ancestor of the Grand Mist Divine race, Hong Mia, jumped onto the battle stage to challenge the Yin clan's ancestor, Yin Ming stepped forward and challenged Hong Mia. Hong Mia was an existence that had reached the major success stage of the Eternal Realm, while Yin Ming was only in the early stages of the Eternal Realm. The gap between their cultivation bases was too huge. If Yin Ming stepped onto the battle stage, he would be instantly killed by the second ancestor of the Grand Mist Divine race. It was no different from sending his head to the ground. How can my Yin clan's head be given away so easily? Yin Huatian immediately jumped out to stop them. Moreover, the Yin clan directly admitted defeat. The Yin clan's first ancestor had done so to protect Yin Ming. After all, The Yin clan's ancestor-level existences had one less ancestor-level existence. The entire Yin clan, including Yin Huatian, only had 7 ancestors left. Old ancestor, a warrior prefers death to humiliation. Yin Ming said agitatedly. I said no means no. Don't tell me that you dare to disobey my orders. Yin Huatian roared at Yin Ming. But Yin Ming still wanted to say something, but he was stopped by Yin Huatian. Yin Huatian waved his hand, and the Yin clan's ancestor behind him immediately rushed forward and captured Yin Ming. What's going on? The surrounding experts of the Grand Mist Divine race were dumbfounded. Were the Yin clan's lunatics fighting amongst themselves? Without any suspense, Yin Ming was captured by the Yin clan's old ancestors and was escorted away. We admit defeat. Yin Huatian shouted at Hong Miao on the battle stage. You bunch of timid fellows. Hong Miao was infuriated. Since the other party had admitted defeat, he wouldn't be able to continue fighting. However, the Flame Race and the Grand Mist Race had fought to a draw. Therefore, the battle between Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng was extremely important. At this moment, Hong Mia jumped off the platform unwillingly. Yin Huatian, you win. Hong Mia stared at Yin Huatian and spoke while gnashing his teeth. Humph, no matter how ruthless I am not as ruthless as you. Yin Huatian sneered. Cut the crap. Yin Huatian, one of us will die today. Come, let's fight. After saying that, Hong Sheng rushed to the fighting platform. Gu Fei, who was watching from high up in the sky, was also a little surprised. The Yin clan actually admitted defeat in the second match? This Yin Huatian is very smart. TSK, who's afraid of who? Yin Huatian took a step forward and appeared in the fighting ring. He stood opposite Hong Sheng. Hong Sheng didn't say anything. He just threw a punch at Yin Huatian. The two half-step, boundless realm experts finally started fighting. Everyone was extremely nervous because this battle would determine the status of the Yin clan and the Chaos Divine clan in the eyes of their master, Gu Fei. The Yin clan and the Chaos Divine clan couldn't afford to lose. On the Flame Star, Gu Fei was an invincible existence. If the Yin clan and the Chaos Divine clan wanted to survive on the Flame Star, they had to rely on Gu Fei. Otherwise, Gu Fei could exterminate their clans if he was unhappy. Die! Yin Huatian roared and also threw a punch. Boom! The two fists collided and released a strong wave of vital qi. This wave of vital qi was a combination of Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng's power. Naturally, it was much stronger than the two of them. However, under the impact of this mighty force, the battle platform did not budge at all. All the mighty force was instantly absorbed by the battle platform, and there was not a single Yuan Qi wave that could be transmitted out of the battle platform. The sleeves on Yin Huatian's and Hong Sheng's arms were instantly shattered and turned into dust. Not even a fragment was left behind. The two figures separated in an instant, but they instantly rushed together and started fighting again. The two great experts moved quickly on the fighting platform. Their figures were everywhere on the fighting platform. Muffled sounds of collisions were heard from the fighting platform. It was extremely shocking and resounded throughout the city. At this time, the square was dead silent. Everyone, regardless of whether it was the Yin clan or the Chaos Divine clan, was extremely nervous. This battle was too important. Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng were both half-step, boundless realm experts. Only one of them could survive. If Yin Huatian died, the Yin clan would be finished. However, if Hong Sheng died in Yin Huatian's hands, the Chaos Divine clan would be finished. This was because Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng both represented the ultimate strength of these two experts. Before this battle, Gu Fei had already said that he would give the two powerhouses from the Yin clan and the Hong Ming Divine race a chance to settle their grudges. Hence, he wouldn't help either Yin Huatian or Hong Sheng. In this battle, Gu Fei would not care about Hong Sheng and Yin Huatian's life or death. Boom! A loud noise suddenly resounded on the fighting platform. In the next moment, the two figures separated again and faced each other. The afterimages around them disappeared. Have you warmed up enough? Yin Huatian stared at Hong Sheng and sneered. Humph, I didn't expect you to be busy all these years. Hong Sheng stared coldly at Yin Huatian. Yin Huatian could cultivate in a place like the Nether Sea. This guy was really amazing. The nether sea on the flame star was a place where endless death chi gathered. After countless living beings died in the flame world, a huge nether sea was formed. That was where the death flame dance slept. Hong Sheng naturally admired Yin Huatian for being able to cultivate in such a perilous land of death. Hong Sheng did not know that there was a small divine spring of life on the flame island in the nether sea. Cut the crap. Today, either you or I die, Yin Huatian said angrily. Very well. You and I have fought for countless years. Very good. You and I have fought for countless years. It's time to put an end to this. As Hong Sheng spoke, an even more powerful wave of energy erupted from his body. Die. Yin Huatian did not waste any more time talking to Hong Sheng. With a roar, he stomped on the ground and disappeared from his original spot. Chaos Sky Opening Palm. Hong Sheng no longer held back. He attacked with all his might, and an extremely powerful force erupted from his hands. The void seemed to be torn apart by his hands, and countless pitch-black spatial cracks appeared in the void in front of him. 10 suns disrupting the universe. Yin Huatian roared. In the next moment, 10 balls of fire appeared on the fighting platform. They were like 10 divine suns that appeared in the void and shattered the void. Chapter 5475. In the Hongming Divine City of the Hongming Divine Clan, the scene that unfolded on the huge battle platform shocked everyone. It was too shocking. 10 balls of divine fire rose from the battle platform like 10 divine suns rising into the sky, as if they were going to break through the heavens. At the same time, a huge hand descended from the sky and grabbed the 10 suns. 2 extremely powerful half-step, boundless realm powers were exploding. Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng no longer held back. They used all of their trump cards. Boom! With an earth-shattering boom, the primordial giant hand that descended from the sky directly collided with the 10 divine suns that soared into the sky. The two forces instantly erupted with the most powerful energy fluctuations. The people from the Yin clan and the Hongming Divine Clan who were watching the battle around the battle platform were shocked and hurriedly retreated. It should be known that this was a storm of energy produced by a half-step infinite realm expert. Once affected, even an existence at the peak of the eternal realm would be instantly destroyed. As long as this storm rushed out of the battle platform, even if it was just a slight fluctuation of energy, it could directly kill any existence in the eternal realm. A half-step infinite realm expert was that powerful. The next moment, the violent energy spread in all directions. However, this powerful energy was still blocked by the power of the battle platform. All the energy was dissolved by the battle platform, and not a single trace leaked out. Everyone outside the battle platform was shocked to the extreme because the mighty energy from the battle platform was all restrained within the scope of the battle platform. Everyone was shocked for a moment. At this time, a dazzling divine light burst out of the battle platform. Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng's figures disappeared in the divine light. Everyone outside the battle platform could not open their eyes. Only Gu Fei, who was in the sky, could see the situation on the battle platform. On the battle platform, Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng's bodies were bursting with divine light. The two of them were fighting desperately. Even their spiritual souls rushed out of their bodies and fought in the void. Terrifying destructive power kept erupting. Soon, horrible wounds appeared on the bodies of Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng, and their spiritual souls gradually dimmed. If this went on, these two fellows would probably perish together. In this way, Gu Fei was a little unhappy. If these two guys were to die, who would do things for him? Half-step infinite peak experts were the strongest experts on the Flame Star. If he didn't have a single half-step infinite peak expert under his command, he would definitely be laughed at by Yin Wu. After all, Yin Wu had subjugated a number of superpowers on the Flame Star. Bam! Boom! 2 muffled sounds rang out in the fighting ring. Then, the divine light on the fighting ring suddenly disappeared. 2 figures flew backwards and fell directly onto the fighting ring. There were bloodstains all over the stage. Both Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng could no longer stand up. Everyone below the fighting ring was dumbfounded by this scene. The winner has been decided? The second ancestor of the Grand Mist Divine Race said in a trembling voice. This was because the auras of Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng, who had fallen on the fighting platform, were very weak. Everyone was extremely nervous, and among those present, the one who was the least nervous was Gu Fei, because he already knew the result of this battle. The result of this battle could only be described in one word. Both sides have lost. It was impossible to determine a victor. At the end of the battle, there was only one result, and that was mutual destruction. Can you still fight? If the two of you can no longer fight, then I will announce that this duel will end in a draw. Gu Fei's voice came from the sky. What? A draw? The people of the Yin clan and the Grand Mist Divine race were dumbfounded. A draw? What's going on? Master, I can still fight. Yin Huatian struggled to sit up. There were 3 bloody holes in his chest that were continuously bleeding. He was so weak that he couldn't even stand up. On the other side of the fighting ring, Hong Sheng also sat up. The injuries on Hong Sheng's body were terrifying. He wanted to stand up, but he failed after a few struggles. How can you fight in this state? Gu Fei said angrily. Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng shivered when they saw Gu Fei's anger. They didn't dare to say anything. That's it. This battle is a draw. Gu Fei said as he disappeared into the void. You two bastards, come and see me when you can move. Gu Fei's voice came from the direction of the city lord's mansion. Yes, master. Hong Sheng and Yin Huatian lowered their heads dejectedly. No one had expected the battle between the Yin clan and the Grand Mist Divine race to end like this. The crowd around the fighting platform didn't disperse for a long time. The ancestors of the Yin clan and the Grand Mist Divine race rushed to the battle platform to rescue their respective ancestors. The battle seemed to be a draw, but the Grand Mist Divine race had suffered a huge loss. In the first battle, the Yin clan's ancestor Yin Sun had killed the Grand Mist Divine race's ancestor Hong Du. In the second battle, the Yin clan had admitted defeat. In the third battle, both Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng had suffered heavy losses. However, no one from the Yin clan had died. While the Grand Mist Divine race had lost an ancestor, Hong Du's death was a huge loss for the Grand Mist Divine race. After all, Hong Du was a mid-level Eternal Realm expert. Although the battle between the Yin clan and the Grand Mist Divine race ended in a draw, the morale of the Grand Mist Divine race was extremely low. When the Yin clan and the Grand Mist Divine race left the battle platform, it soared into the sky and disappeared into the void. Gu Fei kept the battle platform. The Yin clan set up camp in the square, and the entrances to the square were sealed by the Grand Mist Divine race's ancestors. If the entrances to the square weren't sealed, the Grand Mist Divine race's clansmen would rush into the square and fight to the death with the Yin clan. How would the Grand Mist Divine race's ancestors dare to let their clansmen enter the square and fight to the death with the Yin clan? That was openly going against their master, Gu Fei. Who would dare to go against Gu Fei now? That was simply courting death. Several hours later, Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng knelt in front of Gu Fei's throne. In the City Lord's Manor's main hall, Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng carefully lay on the ground and didn't dare to raise their heads. After several hours of recuperation, Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng had recovered some of their strength, especially Hong Sheng. The Grand Mist Divine race controlled the divine spring of life in the city. The wounds on Hong Sheng's body had basically disappeared. Yin Huatian was in a much more miserable state because he didn't have the divine spring of life. His aura was much weaker than Hong Sheng's. What do you think about the outcome of this battle? Gu Fei, who was sitting on the throne, looked down at Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng. Chapter 5476. The battle between the Flame Clan and the Grand Mist Clan ended in a draw. This was something that no one had expected. Even the Flame Clan and the Grand Mist Clan were dumbfounded. However, Gu Fei was still very satisfied with this result. After all, Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng did not have to die. This way, he would have 2 half-step Supreme Primes as his subordinates. The lives of the Flame Race and Grand Mist Race's ancestors were in Gu Fei's hands. The stronger these fellows were, the more advantageous it was to Gu Fei. At this time, in the main hall of the City Lord's Manor, Gu Fei sat on the throne and looked down at the 2 fellows lying on the floor in front of the throne. Do you have any objections to the result of this duel? Gu Fei asked directly. Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng were startled when they heard that. All kinds of thoughts flashed through their minds. Why did their master ask that? For a time, Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng didn't know how to answer. If you don't say anything, it means that you have no objections, Gu Fei said indifferently. Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng were terrified, and cold sweat appeared on their foreheads. This was because the consequences of saying the wrong thing could be very serious. All right, since that's the case, I'll announce that the Grand Misdivine clan's territory will still belong to the Grand Misdivine clan. As for the Yin clan's territory, I'll find another place to settle you all down. Gu Fei said. Thank you, master. Yin Huatian hurriedly said. Hong Sheng heaved a sigh of relief when he heard Gu Fei's words. Fortunately, Gu Fei wanted to find another place for the Yin clan. If he had given a portion of the Grand Misdivine race's territory to the Yin clan, the Grand Misdivine race would have suffered a huge loss. That's it. All of you can leave. Gu Fei waved his hand impatiently. Yes, master. Yin Huatian and Hong Sheng said hurriedly. Then, they stood up from the ground and were about to leave the hall. Wait. Gu Fei suddenly stopped them. Is there anything else, master? Yin Huatian said in a low voice. I don't want to see the Flame Clan and the Grand Misdivine race fighting again. Do you understand? Gu Fei said in a deep voice. Yes, master, I understand. Hong Sheng and Yin Huatian hurriedly said. And get out of here. Gu Fei said. Hong Sheng and Yin Huatian hurriedly left the hall. The enmity between the Yin clan and the Grand Misdivine race was written off. Anyone who dared to provoke a war between the two clans was courting death. Gu Fei left the Hongming Divine City and returned to the space left behind by Holy Master Void Sky. As he stood in the void of this side of the world, a wave of infinite powers will spread out from his body, instantly enveloping the entire world. That is, all of a sudden, Gu Fei sensed something strange. With a single thought, he appeared in the sky above this place. This was a valley. Gu Fei discovered that this valley was actually sealed by layers of arrays. Even Gu Fei couldn't see the scene inside the valley. An unbounded level seal? Gu Fei was a little curious. There was no doubt that the person who sealed this valley was that bastard, Holy Master Void Sky. Holy Master Void Sky definitely wouldn't seal a valley for no reason. Gu Fei was very curious about what exactly was sealed in this valley. Without hesitation, Gu Fei stretched out his finger and swiped at the bottom of the valley. A huge crack immediately appeared in the layers of seals. Powerful auras rushed out from the crack. This, Gu Fei was shocked. In the next moment, his figure disappeared in the void. When he reappeared, he was already inside the valley. When he saw the scene inside the valley, he was a little dumbfounded. He saw that there were actually many powerful figures imprisoned in the valley. He saw a huge, black-armored beast the size of a small mountain being chained to a stone pillar. The chaotic aura around this beast was extremely powerful. This was actually a chaos beast that was born from the chaos. This was the first time that Gu Fei had seen such a beast. After sensing Gu Fei's presence, the chaos beast that was chained to the stone pillar started to struggle. The sound of the chains colliding broke the silence in the valley. This chaos beast was extremely ferocious. Its body was covered in thick scales, and there were 2 horns on its head. Its blood-red eyes were staring at Gu Fei fiercely. Not far away from this chaos barbaric bull was another chaotic creature. This chaotic creature was a black jiao, the chaos black jiao dragon. Gu Fei looked over and saw that there were actually dozens of chaos beasts imprisoned in the valley. These chaos beasts were all extremely powerful. The chaos beasts that were chosen by Holy Master Void Sky and imprisoned here were naturally not ordinary. The weaker chaos beasts had probably been killed by Holy Master Void Sky a long time ago. Where did that crazy old man Void Sky capture so many chaos beasts and imprison them here? Seeing this scene, Gu Fei couldn't help but be dumbfounded. The weakest of the chaos beasts here was at the Eternal Realm, while the strongest was at the half-step Infinite Prime Realm. If the chaos beasts imprisoned in this valley were released, the entire Flame Star would be destroyed. This group of chaos beasts could definitely sweep the entire Flame Star. You're not Void Sky. Who are you? At this moment, an extremely old voice suddenly sounded in Gu Fei's mind. With a thought, Gu Fei disappeared into the void again. When he reappeared, he was already in the deepest part of the valley. Gu Fei was immediately startled by the scene in front of him. There was a bronze pillar in front of him, and there was a person hanging on it. It was a skinny old man. The old man's hair was very long, reaching the ground from his head. It was several feet long. The two sides of the old man's shoulder blades were directly pierced by huge iron hooks. The old man was hung on the bronze pillar, swaying slightly in the mountain wind. "Little guy, who are you? Where is that despicable void sky?" The old voice from before resounded in Gu Fei's mind once more. At this moment, the old man, whose shoulder blades were pierced by the iron hooks, slowly raised his head. His sharp eyes looked at Gu Fei through the white hair in front of him. Gu Fei couldn't sense the slightest fluctuation of primal qi from this mysterious old man. This old man seemed like an ordinary old man. However, Gu Fei was very clear that an ordinary old man would never be sealed here by Holy Master Void Sky. Moreover, this was the deepest part of the valley. The deepest part of the valley was usually the place where the strongest and most terrifying existences were imprisoned. Could it be that this old man was the strongest and most terrifying existence among all the powerful beings imprisoned here? Chapter 5477. There was actually a mysterious place in the world that Sacred Lord Void Sky had left behind. It was a valley. If one didn't try to sense it, even Gu Fei wouldn't be able to sense its existence. One had to admit that Sacred Lord Void Sky was very strong. Her abilities were far above Gu Fei's. Gu Fei knew that even if his cultivation had reached the late stages of the unbounded realm, he still wouldn't be able to beat that old bastard Sacred Lord Void Sky. Gu Fei was still brooding over the fact that Sacred Lord Void Sky didn't care about his life or death and used him to break the barrier of the unbounded realm. That old bastard was too much of a bastard. That old bastard Sacred Lord Void Sky had imprisoned dozens of beings of the chaotic world in this valley. In the deepest part of the valley, there was a skinny old man. This old man was too pitiful. 2 metal hooks had pierced through his shoulder blades, and he was hung on a bronze pillar. When a gust of wind blew, the old man would sway with the wind. "Little guy, don't just stare at me. I'm not a fairy. You'd better put me down first." The old man on the bronze pillar said. "Put you down? Sure. Tell me who you are first." Gu Fei had been screwed over by Sacred Lord Void Sky. At this moment, apart from Yin Wu, who shared the same fate as him, he wouldn't easily trust anyone else. "Little fellow, you're very cautious," the old man said. "Tell me, who are you?" Gu Fei looked at the old man with a solemn expression. "AI, it's been too long. I almost can't remember my own name. Someone seems to call me Sacred Lord Chaotic Sky." The old man sighed. "Another Sacred Lord. What's your relationship with that old bastard Void Sky?" Gu Fei asked. What relationship do I have with him? He's my enemy, my biggest enemy. I want to tear him to pieces." Sacred Lord Chaotic Sky said angrily. "That's true. If you weren't that old bastard Void Sky's enemy, you wouldn't be able to enjoy such treatment here." Gu Fei nodded and said, "Little guy, you should put me down first. It's very uncomfortable hanging like this, you know?" The old man said anxiously. "All right." Gu Fei was not afraid that this guy would cause trouble. He waved his right hand, and a sword light immediately rushed out from his hand. Clang, clang. Sparks flew everywhere, and the 2 iron hooks hooked onto the old man's shoulder blades were immediately cut off by the sword light. The old man directly fell from the sky. "Catch me!" the old man shouted. Gu Fei did not move at all. He had no intention of catching the old man. Bam! The old man fell from the sky, face down, and smashed into the ground. When Gu Fei saw this scene, he was speechless. Although this guy's shoulder blade was pierced by the iron hook, he shouldn't have no cultivation at all. However, this guy actually fell so hard, which surprised Gu Fei a little. It seemed that his cultivation was sealed, and he couldn't even use a little bit of it. Damn, my nose is crooked. Why didn't you catch me, little guy?" The old man stood up from the ground, cursing. A stream of blood flowed from his nose. "Damn it, there's blood. It's a bloody disaster." The old man touched his nose and looked down. He couldn't help but scream when he saw blood on his hand. I say, old man, I've already put you down. Don't pretend to be a fool in front of me. Gu Fei stared at the old man coldly. Pretend to be a fool? Who in this world is qualified to make me pretend to be a fool? The old man patted the dust off his body and said, What's your relationship with that old bastard Void Sky? Gu Fei continued to ask. Sigh. It's a long story. The old man sighed. I have plenty of time. Tell me about it. Gu Fei said with a smile. The old man was startled. Was this little guy going to get to the bottom of it? It seemed like he had to tell this little guy about his history. All right, it's like this. The old man started telling stories. It turned out that in an ancient era, two great geniuses appeared in the limitless realm. These two geniuses were actually brothers. The junior brother was called Void Sky, and the senior brother was called Chaotic Sky. Later on, these two brothers made a name for themselves in the limitless realm. One became Sacred Lord Chaotic Sky, while the other was called Sacred Lord Void Sky. Later on, these two brothers accidentally entered a dangerous place in the limitless realm and actually left the limitless realm. In the beginning, these two brothers supported each other and roamed the heavens together. But later on, Sacred Master Void Sky actually wanted to steal Sacred Master Chaotic Sky's cultivation. She wanted to combine the power of two sacred masters and break through the world barrier of the limitless realm. Thus, one day, Sacred Lord Void Sky ambushed his senior brother, Sacred Lord Chaotic Sky. Sacred Lord Chaotic Sky was then imprisoned here by Sacred Lord Void Sky. Sacred Lord Void Sky would come here every once in a while to absorb Sacred Lord Chaotic Sky's cultivation. This was also the reason why Sacred Lord Chaotic Sky was so weak. After countless years, Sacred Lord Chaotic Sky's cultivation had been almost completely absorbed by Sacred Lord Void Sky. If Gu Fei hadn't come, he would have only been able to last for a few tens of thousands of years before his cultivation would have been completely absorbed by Sacred Lord Void Sky. Sigh, another person who was tricked by that old bastard Void Sky. However, that old bastard Void Sky is really ruthless. He even tricked his senior brother. Gu Fei never would have thought that this skinny guy was Sacred Lord Void Sky's senior brother. His background was boundless. Damn, that guy is an ungrateful wretch. Sacred Lord Chaotic Sky roared angrily. Unfortunately, your enemy, old bastard Void Sky, has already returned to the limitless realm. Gu Fei said. What? Sacred Lord Chaotic Sky was shocked, angry, and hateful when he heard this. That guy actually successfully returned to the limitless realm? The heavens were really blind. Then, Senior, what do you plan to do next? Gu Fei looked at the elder with a smile that wasn't a smile. What plans can I have? Do you think I'll chase him into the limitless realm? Of course, I'll return to the void realm first. Sacred Lord Chaotic Sky said angrily. What? You know how to return to the void realm? Hearing this, Gu Fei was instantly overjoyed. Why do you think that shameless Void Sky didn't kill me? That's because I know the way back. Sacred Lord Chaotic Sky laughed coldly. They had also left the Void Realm and arrived here. Sacred Lord Void Sky didn't know the way back, but Sacred Lord Chaotic Sky did. Sacred Lord Chaotic Sky had left a backup plan in the Void Realm. Of course, the Elder said smugly. All right, if you can help me return to the Void Realm, I'll help you recover some of your cultivation. How about it? Gu Fei said after thinking for a moment. He would first go back and settle the score with Sacred Lord Void Sky's clone and the others. Back then, he had been forced onto the teleportation array by Sacred Lord Void Sky's clone. How could he swallow this? Chapter 5478. Gu Fei hadn't expected Sacred Lord Void Sky to be so ruthless. That old bastard had imprisoned his senior brother and continuously devoured his senior brother's cultivation. Sacred Lord Void Sky was too ruthless. Of course, if that old bastard wasn't ruthless, he wouldn't have gotten himself into such a miserable state. When Gu Fei thought about how he had almost been killed by Sacred Lord Void Sky, he almost went crazy. If he hadn't cultivated the Heaven Ascension secret technique, he would have been dead by now. The senior brother of Sacred Lord Su Tian was naturally extremely powerful, but right now, he was as skinny as a stick and his aura was extremely weak. Most likely, 80% to 90% of his cultivation had been sucked away by Sacred Lord Su Tian. If Sacred Lord Void Sky hadn't wanted to obtain the method to return to the Void Realm from Sacred Lord Chaotic Sky, Sacred Lord Chaotic Sky would have sucked away all of his cultivation. Why didn't Sacred Lord Chaotic Sky know the method to return to the Void Realm but not Sacred Lord Chaotic Sky? That was because when Sacred Lord Chaotic Sky and Sacred Lord Chaotic Sky left the Void Realm, Sacred Lord Chaotic Sky thought that they would be able to return to the Limitless Realm. However, Sacred Lord Chaotic Sky was different. He was extremely cautious and left behind a backup plan before leaving the Void Realm. As for what Sacred Lord Chaotic Sky had left in the Void Realm, only he knew. You don't like these chaotic creatures, right? How about giving them to me? After Gu Fei helped Holy Master Chaotic Heaven remove the 2 iron hooks that were hooked onto his shoulder blades, Holy Master Chaotic Heaven stared at the dozens of chaotic creatures that were imprisoned by Holy Master Void Sky in the valley. Gu Fei naturally knew what this fellow wanted to do. Sacred Lord Chaotic Sky had sucked away 80 to 90% of this fella's cultivation. Now that he was free, the first thing he wanted to do was to recover his cultivation. For an existence like Sacred Lord Chaotic Sky, the fastest way to recover his cultivation was to devour the vitality of other powerful creatures. In Sacred Lord Chaotic Sky's eyes, the dozens of chaotic creatures that Sacred Lord Void Sky had imprisoned in the valley were like great nourishment. If he could devour all the vitality of these chaotic creatures, he could recover at least 50% or even 60% of his cultivation base. After all, the weakest of the chaotic creatures imprisoned in the valley by Sacred Master Su Tian were at least in the Eternal Realm, while the strongest were at the half-step Infinity Realm. These chaotic creatures were born in the chaos, so they were already extremely powerful. After a long period of cultivation, these chaotic creatures' cultivation was naturally astonishing. Furthermore, weaker chaotic creatures weren't even qualified to be imprisoned here by Sacred Master Su Tian. No, Gu Fei refused directly. These dozens of chaotic creatures were still of great use to him. You little fella, aren't you being too stingy? Aren't they just some chaotic creatures? How about this Holy Lord owes you a favor? Sacred Master Chaotic Heaven looked at Gu Fei and said, he was really too weak. When I saved you, didn't you already owe me a huge favor? Gu Fei looked at Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven with a faint smile. Sacred Master Chaotic Heaven didn't know what to say when he heard this. If Gu Fei hadn't saved him from the bronze pillar, he didn't know how long he would have been hanging there. This was a life-saving favor, a huge favor. At this moment, Gu Fei suddenly attacked. What are you doing? Sacred Master Chaotic Heaven was shocked. He was extremely weak. Although the iron hook on his shoulder blade had been taken off, he hadn't even recovered 10% of his cultivation base. He couldn't dodge Gu Fei's attack at all, so Gu Fei directly grabbed his head. A seal rushed out of Gu Fei's palm and entered Sacred Master Chaotic Heaven's head. It was instantly imprinted on his spirit soul. You! Sacred Master Chaotic Heaven was really shocked. This little fella had actually done something to his spirit soul. With Sacred Master Chaotic Heaven's cultivation base, he naturally felt the change in his spirit soul. His spirit soul had been shackled by a secret skill. I'm sorry. Gu Fei retracted his right hand from Sacred Master Chaotic Heaven's head. What the hell did you do to my divine soul? Sacred Master Chaotic Heaven said angrily. His voice was trembling because he didn't even need to think to know that this wasn't a good thing for him. It's nothing. Your life and death are in my hands. Gu Fei said nonchalantly. What? Sacred Master Chaotic Heaven was so angry that his vision turned black. He staggered and almost fell to the ground. He had just escaped from the tiger's claws and entered the wolf's den. If I wasn't lucky, I would have been tricked to death by that old B***starred Su Tian. I don't trust you. It's better to be careful, Gu Fei said calmly. Being tricked by Sacred Master Su Tian once was enough. He didn't want to be tricked again because he wasn't so lucky every time. Sacred Master Chaotic Heaven was infuriated, but there was nothing he could do because he was extremely weak. In fact, even if he recovered his peak cultivation, he might not be able to defeat this little guy. He could tell that Gu Fei had a great success of the supreme ultimate realm. Sacred Master Chaotic Heaven only had a great success of the supreme ultimate realm when he was at his peak. Well, don't think that you'll be free after killing me. If I die, your body and soul will be destroyed too. If I die, you'll be in big trouble. Gu Fei said proudly. Sacred Master Chaotic Heaven was speechless. This little B** starred was too much. It's not difficult for you to recover your cultivation. I'll give this world that old B** starred Su Tian left behind to you. After saying that, Gu Fei waved his right hand and all the chaos creatures in the valley, as well as the entire valley, were sucked into his internal world. This, Holy Lord Chaotic Heaven only felt the world spin before he appeared in a place filled with spirit chi. The law of heaven and earth in this world was very strong, and it was almost a perfect world. You actually have a great world? Sacred Master Chaotic Heaven was very surprised. Why? Splitting the sky and earth doesn't seem to be difficult. Gu Fei said disapprovingly. Sacred Master Chaotic Heaven didn't know what to say. Splitting the sky and earth wasn't difficult, but refining the world into a nearly perfect great world wasn't an easy task. The world that Su Tian left behind is yours. After saying that, Gu Fei waved his right hand and a black hole suddenly appeared behind Holy Master Turbid Heaven. Divine Lord Chaotic Heavens was sucked into the black hole and disappeared in an instant. The next moment, the black hole disappeared into the void. After devouring the world that Sacred Master Su Tian left behind, this guy's cultivation should be able to recover 30% or 40%. Chapter 5479. Gu Fei directly moved the valley where Sacred Master Su Tian had imprisoned the chaotic creatures into his inner world. He stood above the valley and looked down at the ferocious, terrifying, and powerful chaotic creatures. His heart was as calm as a mirror. The lowest cultivation level of these chaotic creatures was the eternal realm. Among them, 3 were particularly powerful. They were in the half-step to infinity realm, which was not much inferior to Yin Huatian and Hongsha. If these guys broke out of the valley, Gu Fei's inner world would also be in chaos. However, Gu Fei would never let this happen. He pondered for a while, and then waved his right hand. Dozens of divine lights immediately rushed out of his hand and fell directly into the valley. They entered the bodies of the chaotic creatures imprisoned in the valley. Roar! An earth-shattering roar immediately came from the valley. Then, Gu Fei released a sword light and cut off the iron chains on all the chaotic creatures imprisoned in the valley. From now on, I am your master. Your life and death are in my hands. Gu Fei stood with his hands behind his back and looked down at the chaotic creatures in the valley. His voice rang in the minds of every chaotic creature. TSK, you little brat. What makes you think you can be our master? A wolf demon walked out. It was a chaos heavenly wolf. It was extremely powerful and had a peak eternal realm cultivation level. Its demonic aura was extremely powerful. That's right. Not even Void Sky could make us submit. A chaotic creature sneered. Is that so? Then you can all die. Gu Fei suddenly smiled evilly. The next moment, he stretched out his right hand and snapped his fingers. Then, the chaos heavenly wolf and the chaotic creature exploded at the same time and turned into a cloud of blood mist. Both their bodies and souls were directly destroyed. Gu Fei stretched out his right hand and grabbed at the 2 clouds of blood mist. 2 powerful waves of vital energy transformed into a beam of divine light and rushed towards him, disappearing into his palm. Gu Fei instantly devoured the primordial chi of the 2 chaotic creatures. At the sight of this, the initially restless beings of chaos were scared out of their wits. Indeed, this human held their lives in his hands. With a snap of Gu Fei's fingers, the 2 chaos creatures were annihilated in body and soul, and their vitality was also devoured. All the chaotic creatures in the valley were shivering in fear. To them, this was definitely the most thorough way to die. What? Is there anyone else who's not convinced? Feel free to step forward. Gu Fei swept an indifferent glance at the chaotic creatures in the valley and said, at this moment, how would those chaotic creatures dare to stand out? The human in front of him was even more decisive than Sacred Lord Su Tian. He had killed 2 creatures of the chaotic world without saying anything. Saint Master Su Tian merely wanted to imprison them and had no intention of killing them. However, this human was different. He had killed 2 of the chaotic creatures right off the bat. Your subordinate is willing to serve you as my master. All the chaos creatures in the valley kowtowed to Gu Fei simultaneously. A wise man submits to circumstances. Very good. Gu Fei nodded. All of you stay here and wait for my summons. After saying that, Gu Fei disappeared into the void without waiting for them to reply. When he came out, he was greeted by a scene of destruction. Rumble. The world left behind by Sacred Lord Su Tian shook violently. Pitch-black spatial cracks spread across the sky like spider webs. A powerful figure sat cross-legged in the middle of the world, desperately devouring the power of the world in this world. The balance of this world had been broken by this figure. The laws of heaven and earth had collapsed, and endless power of heaven and earth gathered towards this figure. He was devouring the sky. This person was Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven. The extremely weak Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven lacked vitality. Therefore, he wanted to devour the sky. As he continuously devoured the power of heaven and earth, Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven's aura became stronger. He was no longer as weak as before. His muscles and bones were expanding, his face was rosy, and his white hair had turned white. This fella, Gu Fei was speechless. This fella really devoured Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven's world. He wasn't holding back at all. The power contained in Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven's world was still very strong. Soon, the world started to collapse. The power of the 4 elements surged out. The power that erupted from the destruction of heaven and earth was naturally terrifying. However, Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven continued to devour this power unscrupulously. His aura rose rapidly, and his cultivation recovered very quickly. Gu Fei naturally wouldn't care about this fella. He had planted a forbidden technique on this fella. He could kill this fella with just a thought. The terrifying power of destruction of heaven and earth surged towards Gu Fei. The earth, mountains, rivers, and the void were collapsing and turning into destructive power. Everything in this world was collapsing and being destroyed. A star fell from the sky and smashed towards Gu Fei. Gu Fei didn't care about the star that was smashing towards him. Boom. When the star was about 300 meters away from Gu Fei's head, it exploded and collided with an invisible force field. The huge explosion was earth-shattering, and dust filled the air. The power released by the explosion of the star couldn't move Gu Fei at all. Gu Fei naturally didn't care about this power. However, this didn't mean that Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven didn't care about it. Right now, Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven was simply too hungry to be picky. Anyone else would have been scared silly by such a shocking scene. However, Gu Fei didn't care about this destructive scene. He walked out of this destroyed world step by step. Behind him, the void was collapsing, the earth was cracking, and the water, fire, and wind were wreaking havoc. The destruction of heaven and earth caused quite a commotion in the primal chaos. Very soon, Yin Wu appeared nearby. You did this? Yin Wu immediately sensed Gu Fei nearby. At their level of cultivation, they could even sense each other's aura in the primal chaos. Why do you think I did this? Gu Fei asked helplessly. Who else could it be? Yin Wu said coldly. On the Flame Star, only Gu Fei, Yin Wu, and Death Yin Wu were infinite primes. Destroying a region of the world would be a piece of cake for an infinite prime. And him. Gu Fei pointed in the direction of the destruction. What? Chapter 5480. Rumble, heaven and earth were destroyed. The world that Sacred Lord Void Sky left behind finally collapsed completely. The terrifying power of destruction that was released caused the entire chaotic space to boil. An extremely powerful aura erupted from the primal chaos. That is, Yin Wu was shocked when she felt this aura. You know that guy? Gu Fei looked curiously at Yin Wu, Void Sky's senior brother, Chaotic Heaven. Yin Wu gritted her teeth. You really do know that guy? Gu Fei wasn't very surprised because Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven was Sacred Lord Void Sky's senior brother. Back then, Sacred Lord Void Sky had come to the boundary of the everlasting realm with Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven. Void Sky and Chaotic Heaven had roamed together and discovered another super great world in the primal chaos, the Flame World. However, not long after they discovered the Flame World, Sacred Lord Void Sky plotted against Sacred Lord Void Sky and imprisoned him in the world that Sacred Lord Void Sky had created. Yanwu never dreamed that she would be able to see Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven again. Sacred Lord Void Sky could even plot against her senior brother, so she naturally could do the same to Yanwu. However, Sacred Master Void Heaven had only made a move against Yanwu after imprisoning Sacred Master Chaotic Heaven. Therefore, Yanwu didn't have any grudges with Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven. However, Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven was Sacred Lord Void Sky's senior brother. Yanwu hated Sacred Lord Void Sky to the extreme, so she naturally hated Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven as well. At this moment, a figure walked out of the chaotic aura. This person had a head full of black hair, a tall stature, and a straight eyebrow that was incomparably mighty. An incomparably domineering aura erupted from his body. Gu Fei was slightly surprised when he saw Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven. Before, Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven was as skinny as a stick and extremely weak, as if he could die at any moment. However, it was as if this guy had become a completely different person now. It's really you? Yanwu was enraged when she saw that person. In the next instant, she disappeared into the void. What? Gu Fei didn't think that Yanwu would make a move. At this moment, Sacred Master Chaotic Heaven had only recovered 30 to 40% of his cultivation after devouring the world left behind by Sacred Master Void Sky. Just as he was about to come over to meet Gu Fei, his vision suddenly went black. He was actually punched by someone. This punch landed squarely on his left eye, causing his vision to go black and stars to dance around. Who ambushed me? Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven was enraged. The next moment, his eyes were hit again, and he was punched again. Holy Lord Chaotic Heaven was enraged. He was a dignified Holy Lord, but he was actually punched twice in the face. His eyes instantly turned into panda eyes. Kill. Sacred Master Chaotic Heaven was enraged. In the next moment, countless divine lights rushed out of his body and penetrated in all directions. This was an indiscriminate attack. Every beam of divine light that shot out of Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven's body pierced through the chaotic void. No matter where the person plotting against him was, they would be forced back by Sacred Lord Turbid Heaven's move. However, Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven had miscalculated. Yanwu completely ignored the sharp divine lights that shot out of Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven's body. The divine lights were repelled by an invisible force 3 feet away from her. She raised her leg and kicked Holy Master Muddy Heaven's head, sending him flying into the primal chaos aura. Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven was depressed. He had just devoured the world left behind by Sacred Master Void Sky and recovered 30 to 40% of his cultivation. Yet, he was beaten like a dog. What made him even more depressed was that he didn't even see who was beating him up. This was going too far. I say, can you not bully my people? Gu Fei couldn't help but say. Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven was his subordinate, and he was also his most capable subordinate. If Yanwu crippled him, it would be a huge loss. Your people? Yanwu was stunned. This fellow had even subdued Sacred Master Chaotic Heaven? How was that possible? Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven was that bastard Void Sky's senior brother. Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven's cultivation should be about the same as Void Sky's. Back then, when Chaotic Heaven and Void Sky worked together, even Yanwu was beaten up badly. Of course, if Yanwu faced either Void Sky or Chaotic Heaven alone, she could still put up a fight. Whose people do you think he is? Gu Fei said impatiently. You should have said so earlier. I'm leaving. Yanwu said and disappeared into the chaotic aura. She left very decisively. Gu Fei was also speechless. Did he just beat him up and leave? Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven had been beaten up for nothing. At this moment, an angry roar sounded. Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven broke through the chaotic aura and rushed back, but Yanwu had already left. Was it Yin Wu, that girl? Sacred Master Chaotic Heaven was furious. However, even though he was angry, he didn't dare to cause trouble for Yin Wu because he had only recovered 30 to 40% of his cultivation. On the other hand, Yin Wu was a supreme existence born from the flame world's will. Even at his peak, Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven might not have been able to defeat Yin Wu. What? The great Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven is afraid. Gu Fei looked at Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven in surprise. Sigh. Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven sighed. Times are different now. Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven said helplessly. He had been imprisoned by his junior brother for countless years. His junior brother had absorbed 80 to 90% of his cultivation. If Gu Fei had not discovered the valley, he did not know how long he would have been hung on the bronze pillar. Now, he had only recovered 30 to 40% of his cultivation. With his current cultivation, he was as weak as an ant in Yin Wu's eyes. When Yin Wu attacked just now, Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven did not even see her shadow, let alone counterattack. This was the difference between them. If Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven, who had lived for countless years, could not even see how strong Yin Wu was, then he didn't need to live anymore. You also know that times are different now. You are mine now. In the future, follow me. We will enter the everlasting realm together and find that old bastard Void Heaven. Gu Fei said to Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven. Void Heaven, that bastard. Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven was so angry when Sacred Lord Void Heaven was mentioned that his body trembled. Old bastard Void Heaven, I'll let you roam freely in the everlasting realm for a few days. Gu Fei gritted his teeth and said. Sacred Lord Void Heaven was willing to do anything to return to the everlasting realm. He even tricked his own senior brother. Gu Fei, Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven, and Yin Wu had a common enemy, Sacred Lord Void Heaven. Once they entered the everlasting realm, Sacred Lord Void Heaven's good days would come to an end. Let's go back to the Flame Star first. After saying that, Gu Fei disappeared into the primal chaos. Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven hurriedly chased after him. How did the flame world become like this? Chapter 5481. The flame world used to be a super great world, and this super great world was second only to the infinite realm. It was even bigger than the void realm, and its laws were stronger than the void realms. However, such a super great world had become a star in the primal chaos. Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven was stunned by the scene in front of him. The laws of the current flame star were incomplete. Although this star was still huge, it couldn't compare to the flame world of the past. It's your junior brother's doing, Gu Fei said. What? Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven was stunned when he heard this. Void Sky, that bastard, destroyed a super great world? This was simply devoid of conscience. Was he crazy? One had to know that the flame world was a super great world. There were countless beings in this world. Sacred Lord Void Sky destroying this world was the same as killing all the beings in this world. Slaughtering countless beings would cause the wrath of the heavens. Of course, with Sacred Lord Void Sky's cultivation, he wasn't afraid of the wrath of the heavens. Crazy, crazy, he's really crazy, Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven murmured. His voice was trembling. Destroying a part of the world wasn't a big deal for existences like them. However, destroying a super great world was a different story. Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven had devoured the heaven and earth left behind by Sacred Lord Void Sky. Destroying such a heaven and earth was a piece of cake for Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven because there weren't many living beings in the heaven and earth left behind by Sacred Lord Void Sky. Moreover, this world had been created by Sacred Lord Void Sky herself. The flame world was a super great world formed by the heavens and earth. It wasn't a world created by someone. Divine Spring of Life? Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven, who had recovered from his shock, immediately sensed the vitality on this star. Don't even think about the Divine Spring of Life, Gu Fei said coldly. Without the Divine Spring of Life, how can I recover my cultivation in such a short time? Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven said angrily. What? You dare to disobey my orders? Do you not want to live anymore? Gu Fei snickered coldly. Holy Lord Chaotic Skies immediately cowered. He had no choice but to cower. This was because his life and death really depended on a single thought from the other party. If the other party wanted to kill him, he would explode on the spot with a single thought. His body and soul would be destroyed. Very good. You are now my subordinate, understand? Gu Fei said indifferently. Holy Master Chaotic Heaven was speechless. However, the situation was stronger than him. In front of Gu Fei, he was just an ant. He could only listen to Gu Fei. When we return to the Void Realm, are you still worried that you won't be able to recover your cultivation? Gu Fei said. Holy Lord Chaotic Heaven's eyes lit up. Let's go. Gu Fei brought Holy Master Chaotic Heavens back to the Grand Mist Divine City. Then, Holy Master Chaotic Heaven started to set up a teleportation array on the plaza of Hongmeng Divine City. He was building a teleportation array that could be used to return to the Void World. At this time, a storm was brewing in the Void Realm. Thousands of years had passed, and the power structure of the Void Realm had undergone earth-shattering changes. The Limitless Demon Lord and the Snow Demon had divided the entire Middle Sky. Moreover, the Snow Demon had subdued the Eastern Wasteland Demon race and became the supreme demon race in the Void Realm. The Buddha race had been defeated and forced to retreat to the Southern Barbarians. The disciples of the Middle Sky Buddha race had been killed by the Limitless Demon Lord. The West Sea Dragon race had also moved to the Southern Barbarians. The entire West Sea Dragon race had become the domain of Holy Master Void Heaven's incarnation. Holy Master Void Heaven's incarnation had also conquered the North Ruins. The North Ruins Ghost Emperor was a fence-sitter. When Holy Master Void Heaven's incarnation arrived, he immediately surrendered. On the other hand, the Bone Emperor had escaped to the Southern Barbarians when he received the news. These people who were subdued by Gu Fei actually knew that Gu Fei wasn't dead. Because they were still alive, Gu Fei had planted a forbidden technique on them. If Gu Fei died, their bodies and souls would be destroyed. However, they were still alive and well. This was also the reason why the Bone Emperor and the others didn't dare to betray Gu Fei. Because once Gu Fei returned, those who betrayed Gu Fei would definitely die. At this time, in the Southern Barbarians, Gu Fei's power had increased greatly. Because of the addition of experts like the Bone Emperor and the West Sea Old Dragon, Xiao Ye and Long Xiaozhou had some confidence. Moreover, the Shaman Emperor was also in the Southern Barbarians. Moreover, the four great generals under Gu Fei were also in the Southern Barbarians. In fact, other than the lack of Boundless Realm experts in the Southern Barbarians, there were also many Emperor Realm and Transcendent Emperor Realm experts. The Limitless Demon Lord really wanted to kill Gu Fei's disciples and grand disciples, but Holy Master Void Heaven's incarnation didn't allow it. Because when Gu Fei stepped on the formation platform of the realm wall to the Limitless Realm, they had already made a promise to Gu Fei that they wouldn't touch his people. Holy Master Void Heaven's incarnation seemed to have a much more righteous sense than his main body. The limitless fire spirit that Gu Fei subdued surrendered to the Limitless Demon Lord. Although the limitless fire spirit surrendered to the Limitless Demon Lord and fought for the Limitless Demon Lord, it was very careful. On the surface, it was very loyal to the Limitless Demon Lord, but in fact, it was secretly looking forward to the return of Gu Fei. It didn't help the Limitless Demon Lord to attack the Southern Barbarians. As for the Tian clan, they became an exception in the Middle Sky. The Tian clan directly closed their ancestral land and hid in their ancestral land. As long as it wasn't those Boundless Realm experts who made a move, no one could do anything to the Tian clan. Moreover, those Boundless Realm experts were very clear that the ancestor of the Tian clan, Yu Xian and the Ling Tian Palace Master of the Ling Tian Palace could fuse together and become the Limitless Sword Master. Most importantly, Yu Xian and the Ling Tian Palace Master didn't have an immortal body. This was a secret that only the Holy Master Void Heaven's incarnation, the Limitless Demon Lord, and the Snow Demon knew. This was also the reason why they didn't attack Yu Xian and the Ling Tian Palace Master separately. The Limitless Sword Master wouldn't make such a low-level mistake. The Ling Tian Palace was also closed now. The Tian clan's ancestral land and the Ling Tian Palace were two places with extraordinary status in the Void Realm. After thousands of years, the Limitless Demon Lord became more and more impatient. His subordinates kept invading the southern barbarians. Everyone knew that the day when the limitless demon lord would attack the southern barbarians was not far. Moreover, the Holy Master Void Heaven's incarnation didn't seem to want to care about the southern barbarians at this time. In the past few hundred years, the Holy Master Void Heaven's incarnation had been in seclusion and hadn't appeared. Snow Demon stayed on her snow mountain and wouldn't easily leave the Middle Sky Snow Mountain. The Limitless Demon Lord's people were very active in the area between the Middle Sky and the Southern Barbarians. Someone noticed the unusual movements of the Limitless Demon Lord's army. Southern Barbarian Royal City, in the Palace Hall. Your Highness, what should we do? Xiaoya stood next to the throne. The throne was empty. Only Gu Fei was qualified to sit on this throne. Different situations call for different actions. What are you nervous about? That's right. It's not like we haven't fought with the Limitless Demon Lord's devil army. Long Xiaozhou, who was sitting on the first seat on the left of the throne, said indifferently. Chapter 5482. In the Void World, the Limitless Demon Lord was going all out against the Southern Barbarians. Meanwhile, on the Flame Star, Holy Master Chaotic Heaven was busy building a teleportation array in the square of the primordial divine race's divine city. However, the teleportation array that Holy Master Chaotic Heaven was building was much more complicated than Gu Fei had imagined. Every brick used to build the teleportation array needed to be engraved with ancient and complicated Dao patterns. It was a teleportation array that could transport people infinitely far away. Even with Holy Master Chaotic Heaven's cultivation base, it wasn't an easy task to build such a teleportation array. Everyone in the primordial divine race was busy building the teleportation array. Even the Flame Clan had come to help. The two major clans had collected a lot of divine materials, but Holy Master Chaotic Heaven didn't have anything on him. After he had been imprisoned by Holy Master Void Sky, everything on him had been taken away. Even his inner world had been searched by Holy Master Void Sky. He was already lucky that Holy Master Void Sky hadn't destroyed his inner world. The divine materials needed to build a super teleportation array were naturally extraordinary. Even the primordial divine race and the Flame Clan didn't have that many divine materials. In the end, Gu Fei had to fork out a large portion of the divine materials, and it took him more than half a month to build the teleportation array that was dozens of feet tall. The teleportation array stood on the square like a small mountain. The entire teleportation array was built with primal chaos divine stones. This kind of divine stone was born in the primordial chaos, and it was very difficult to find. However, Gu Fei had a lot of them. Moreover, these primal chaos divine stones were the leftovers from refining the primordial chaos seal. Gu Fei's primordial chaos seal was a supreme, boundless Dao artifact refined from an entire mountain of primordial chaos divine metal. The primal chaos divine stones were just waste that had been attached to the mountain of primordial chaos divine metal. Fortunately, Gu Fei had collected these waste materials, and they could be put to good use now. Not bad, not bad. When the last brick of the chaos divine stone was laid, a ball of divine light emerged from the teleportation array. Every brick of the Chaos Divine Stone had an ancient and abstruse Dao pattern on it. Gu Fei exclaimed in admiration at the sight of this. His formation Dao cultivation wasn't weak, but it was far from being comparable to the Chaotic Heaven's Sacred Master. This was because even he himself could not build such a teleportation formation platform. Don't you know who I am? The Chaotic Heaven Holy Master was very pleased. Array formations were his forte. In the limitless realm, all living beings had an endless lifespan. They had enough time to study and research something. Therefore, in the limitless realm, all kinds of cultivation systems had been developed to the extreme. There weren't many people in the infinite realm who could surpass Sacred Lord Turbid Heaven in terms of arrays. Stop being so smug. How do we go back? Tell me. Gu Fei and Holy Lord Chaotic Heaven stepped onto the teleportation array together. I left a drop of my heart's blood in the void realm. That bastard Void Sky only left behind a clone. Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven's expression was a little gloomy. Being plotted against by his own junior brother was definitely a shadow in his heart. It should be known that he and Void Sky had grown up together and roamed the world together. Even though they weren't blood-related brothers, the two of them were closer than blood-related brothers. However, this person who had been killed by his own brother had actually changed. He had become cold-blooded and heartless. In the end, he had even attacked him. After Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven had escaped, he found out that his junior brother had been crazy enough to destroy a great world. In his opinion, Sacred Lord Void Sky was really crazy. However, his junior brother had finally returned to the limitless realm as he wished. If he wanted to take revenge, he would have to return to the limitless realm first. However, it was practically impossible for the Chaotic Heaven Sacred Master to return to the unbounded realm. Using my heart's blood as a guide? Gu Fei couldn't help but be startled when he heard this. This fellow was really ruthless to himself. That was a drop of heart's blood, not a drop of blood. Compared to ordinary blood, heart's blood was way too precious. Actually, heart's blood was just a way of saying it. Heart's blood was condensed from a cultivator's essence. It contained a cultivator's complete essence, chi, and spirit. An ordinary clone couldn't compare to it. This was especially true for an existence like Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven. A drop of his heart's blood was actually another version of himself. Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven's blood might even have the chance to grow into another Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven. Gu Fei finally understood why Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven could return to the Void Realm. He had actually left a drop of heart's blood in the Void Realm. Using the heart's blood as a guide, he could return to the location of the heart's blood no matter where he was. You also know of this secret technique? Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven stared at Gu Fei in shock. TSK, what kind of secret technique is this? Gu Fei was truly speechless. This kind of divine ability wasn't actually a secret. However, Gu Fei was wrong. The Divine Master of the Chaotic Heaven's Divine Lord's Heart's Blood Guide was unique and surpassed the limits of time. Seeing Gu Fei's indifferent expression, Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven felt somewhat embarrassed. In his opinion, this divine ability was amazing, but in Gu Fei's eyes, it wasn't even worth mentioning. Can this formation platform be used now? Gu Fei asked. Not yet. I still need to make some arrangements, Sacred Lord Chaotic Heaven said hurriedly. He also wanted to return to the Void Realm. After all, the Flame Star lacked everything, and he couldn't just absorb the divine spring of life to recover his cultivation base. After returning to the Void Realm, he could retrieve the drop of heart's blood he had left in the Void Realm. After all, he could recover at least 30% of his cultivation base. All right, take your time to set it up. With these words, Gu Fei directly left. At this moment, he sensed Yen Wu's aura. Oh my, why is our flame fairy in the mood to stroll around here? Upon seeing Yen Wu, Gu Fei walked up to her with a smile. I say, old Gu, don't be so talkative. Tell me, what are you doing? Yen Wu asked directly. What can I do on the Flame Star? Gu Fei asked helplessly. You built the formation platform behind my back. Where do you want to go? Yen Wu said with a cold smile. Haha, you've seen through me. Are you interested in taking a trip with me? Gu Fei laughed. Where to? Are you going to the Boundless Realm? Yen Wu said mockingly. What are you talking about? If I could go to the Boundless Realm, would I still be here chatting with you? Gu Fei said snappily. Then you're going to another world, Yen Wu said in a low voice. It's really boring here. I want to go back to where I came from and see where my disciples are. Gu Fei stopped smiling and said with a solemn expression, Where you came from? Hearing this, Yen Wu became even more interested. Since Gu Fei was so amazing, she was really curious about what kind of world he came from. Chapter 5483. Two figures stood high up in the sky. They were Gu Fei and Yen Wu. Holy Lord Chaotic Heaven, who was busy carving an array platform on the Chaos Divine City's plaza, raised his head and sneered in the direction of Gu Fei and Yen Wu. Holy Lord Chaotic Heaven had also sensed Yen Wu's aura, but he pretended not to notice. This was because Holy Master Chaotic Heaven knew very well that he wasn't a match for Yen Wu right now. Although he really wanted to settle the score with Yen Wu, he needed to recover his peak cultivation at the very least. Otherwise, he would be courting death. Holy Lord Chaotic Heaven struggled to carve array patterns on the array platform. This was the core array pattern, and he couldn't afford to be careless. If he made a mistake, the entire array platform would be destroyed and he would have to rebuild it. This was an array platform that had taken Holy Master Chaotic Heaven more than half a month to build. If he destroyed this array platform because of a small mistake, he would probably vomit blood. Holy Lord Chaotic Heaven carefully carved the array patterns, and his forehead was soon covered in sweat. Meanwhile, Gu Fei was flirting with Yin Wu in the sky. I want to see what kind of place you came from. I can't believe such a monstrous genius like you came from. Yin Wu said, I'll inform you when the array platform is completed. Gu Fei smiled. I hope you won't disappoint me. After saying that, Yin Wu disappeared into the void. She had left. Gu Fei was speechless. Yin Wu had left so decisively. The news of the primordial divine race and the Flame Clan working together to build an array platform in Hongming Divine City had spread. The commotion caused by Old Ancestor Chaotic Heaven's construction of the array platform was too big, and many of the major forces' spies had snuck into Hongming Divine City. A huge array platform the size of a small mountain stood on the plaza of Hongming Divine City. It was too eye-catching, and it was impossible not to notice it. All the major forces on the Flame Star were alarmed. As a result, the number of spies around Hongming Divine City increased. Hongming Divine City belonged to the primordial divine race, and not everyone could enter and leave freely. Only members of the primordial divine race could enter and leave the city freely. Outsiders were forbidden from entering the Hongming Divine City. Of course, there was an exception, and that was the Flame Clan. The Flame Clan had yet to find a place to move, and they could only set up camp in the plaza of Hongming Divine City. This was Gu Fei's tacit consent, and no one dared to say anything. However, it would be difficult for the various superpowers spies on the Flame Star to enter the Hongming Divine City. Moreover, it was extremely dangerous. If they were discovered by the Grand Mist Divine Race, there would only be one outcome for the outsiders: death. The Grand Mist Divine Race had never shown mercy to outsiders who dared to barge into the Grand Mist Divine City. As long as they caught them, they would be killed on the spot. The Divine Spring of Life was located in the Grand Mist Divine City, and it was the lifeblood of the Grand Mist Divine Race. In order to protect the Divine Spring of Life, the Grand Mist Divine Race was willing to do anything. During these days, there was one person in the Grand Mist Divine Clan who was depressed. That person was Hong Zuayer. After teasing Gu Fei in her drunken stupor, she couldn't forget about Gu Fei. However, Gu Fei seemed to have forgotten about what had happened that night, and he didn't even bother to punish her. While Holy Master Chaotic Heavens was setting up the transmission array, Hong Zuayer left the city to relieve her boredom. She only brought along 2 attendants as she rode the Black Dragon Divine colt out of the Hongming Divine City. Hong Zuayer's appearance immediately attracted the attention of the various superpower spies outside the city. The Grand Mist Divine Race's hunting ground was located on a primitive mountain ridge 100 miles away from the Hongming Divine City. The hunting ground was huge, and there were all kinds of fierce beasts raised by the Grand Mist Divine Race. The fierce beasts in the hunting ground weren't very strong, but it had become a training ground for the younger generation of the Grand Mist Divine Race. For the past several hundred years, the younger generation of the Grand Mist Divine Race had to hunt a fierce beast in the hunting ground to be considered as an adult. The coming-of-age ceremony had become a tradition of the Grand Mist Divine Race. If one failed to kill a fierce beast and couldn't complete the coming-of-age ceremony, it would be extremely embarrassing in the Grand Mist Divine Race. To Hong Zuayer and the others riding the Black Dragon Divine Colt, 100 miles was a distance that they could cover in less than an hour. Of course, if they flew, they could reach the hunting ground in less than an hour. When Hong Zuayer arrived at the hunting ground with the 2 maids, someone came up to them. When they saw Hong Zuayer, they hurriedly saluted and led the Black Dragon Divine Colt away. "Let's go. I want to kill that Wolf King today," Hong Zuayer said as she rushed into the hunting ground. "Young miss, wait for us." The 2 maids hurriedly chased after Hong Zuayer. The 3 of them quickly disappeared into the mountain ridge. "Did you hear that? Young Miss Zuayer wants to kill the Wolf King in the mountain. One of the Grand Mist Divine Race's disciples at the hunting grounds entrance exclaimed to his companion beside him, "I'm not deaf, of course I heard it. That young Miss Sue has been coming here to hunt for the past half a month, but I don't see her killing the Wolf King." The Grand Mist Divine Race's disciple said disapprovingly, "Hee, I have a feeling that things might be different this time." "Then, why don't we make a bet? Let's bet. Who's afraid of who?" "I bet that young Miss Sue can't kill the Wolf King." "All right, whoever loses has to hand over a month's worth of cultivation resources. How about that?" That's it. While the two Grand Mist Divine Race's disciples were making their bet, the roars of fierce beasts rang out from the mountain ridge. At this time, several figures evaded the Grand Mist Divine Race's disciples guarding the hunting ground and entered the hunting ground stealthily. Their target was naturally Hong Zue. "Chaos Wolf King, I'm coming." At this time, Hong Zue looked like she had been injected with chicken blood as she charged towards the Chaos Wolf King's lair excitedly. The Chaos Wolf King wasn't the powerful existence born from the chaos that had died in Gu Fei's hands. This Chaos Wolf King was merely the Chaos Wolf King that had a trace of chaos bloodline in its body. Even so, this Chaos Wolf King was incomparably powerful. With Hong Zue's cultivation, it wouldn't be easy for her to kill the Chaos Wolf King. Otherwise, she would have come here many times. If she could kill the Chaos Wolf King, she would have done so long ago. Why would she wait until now? Never in her wildest dreams would she have imagined that while she had her eyes on the Chaos Wolf King, someone else had their eyes on her. This was really the case of the mantis stalking the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. At this time, the mysterious figures were moving swiftly through the mountain ridge and were about to catch up to Hong Zue and the others. Chapter 5484. The primordial Chaos Divine Tribe had developed well on the Flame Star. They occupied a huge territory and even had a hunting ground for their young disciples. The hunting ground was huge. The entire mountain range spanned tens of thousands of miles. In the depths of the mountain range, there were many powerful Beast King-level beasts. The Chaos Wolf King was one of the Beast Kings. The Chaos Wolf King's territory spanned over 1,000 miles. If other Beast Kings trespassed into its territory, the Chaos Wolf King would rush out and chase them away. At this time, the ferocious Chaos Wolf King was targeted by someone. The person who targeted the Chaos Wolf King was Hong Zue of the primordial Chaos Divine Tribe. Hong Zue was the granddaughter of the primordial Chaos Divine Tribe's ancestor, Hong Zhun. She was famous for her love of wine. Hong Zhun's cultivation was in the extreme Dao realm. Hong Zue was a half-step extreme Dao realm cultivator. Even though Hong Zue loved wine, she was a rare genius among the younger generation of the primordial Chaos Divine Tribe. However, the Chaos Wolf King was no weakling. It was on par with Hong Zue. Hong Zue had already fought a few battles with the Chaos Wolf King. "Wolf Cub, get your ass out here right now." Hong Zue climbed up a small hill and yelled at the valley opposite her. Her voice reverberated through the mountains. "Little girl, you still dare to come?" A wave of spiritual will spread out from the valley. At its cultivation realm, the Chaos Wolf King was also proficient in transformation. It had already gained intelligence and was even more cunning and vicious than humans. One had to know that it was the Chaos Wolf King. Cunning and vicious were its characteristics. "Tisk, why wouldn't I dare to come? Today, I will send you on your way." Hong Zue sneered. "Haha, is that so? Do you have the ability?" The Chaos Wolf King laughed disdainfully. "Cut the crap. Let's fight." Hong Zue had originally come here to find the Chaos Wolf King to fight and vent her frustrations. She immediately flew into the sky from the mountain peak and dove into the valley in front of her. "Miss?" Her two maids were shocked and wanted to rush in as well. "All of you, wait outside." Hong Zue's voice came from the valley. "This?" The two maids didn't know what to do. Roar! The howl of a wolf rang out from the valley. A powerful wave of yuan qi immediately spread out from the valley, causing the entire valley to tremble. Inside the valley, Hong Zue was fighting a giant silver wolf. The giant silver wolf moved quickly around Hong Zue, leaving behind a series of afterimages. The giant wolf's sharp claws constantly tore at Hong Zuei. A sharp blade of light shot out from the silver wolf's sharp claws and tore through the void. Hong Zuei was extremely calm. She threw out punch after punch, directly blasting away the light blades that were tearing at her. This was the Grand Mist Divine Fist of the Grand Mist Divine Clan. It was a simple fist technique, but its power was shocking. The Chaos Wolf King attacked Hong Zuei ferociously. However, it could not break through the primordial fist force that exploded from Hong Zuei's fist. Roar! The Chaos Wolf King roared out furiously as it attacked with all its might. Its pair of sharp claws seemed to be able to tear the void apart. However, no matter how ferocious and violent the Chaos Wolf King's attack was, it was useless. All of its attacks were blocked by Hong Zuei's fists. At this moment, Hong Zuei had actually entered a strange state of cultivation. She was originally extremely frustrated, but now, her state of mind was as calm as a mirror. There was not a single ripple in her heart. Furthermore, her current sensory abilities were extremely shocking. Even though this Chaos Wolf King was moving rapidly around her, her senses told her that this Wolf King was moving in slow motion. "You're too slow," Hong Zuei said. Her tone was extremely calm. "What did you say?" The Chaos Wolf King was instantly enraged. This lass actually said that its movements were slow? You don't believe me? Hong Zuei's lips curled into a cold smile. In the next moment, her feet moved and she disappeared from the spot. Then, a fist instantly enlarged in front of the Chaos Wolf King's eyes, directly smashing into its right eye. The Chaos Wolf King felt its vision go black. It saw stars and almost fainted. It immediately retreated. However, Hong Zuei was like a shadow. She threw another punch at the Chaos Wolf King's left eye. The Chaos Wolf King started to doubt its wolf life. Was its movements really slow? "I've already said that you're too slow." Hong Zuei's tone was still very calm. The Chaos Wolf King was shocked and furious. It had never expected that Hong Zuei's cultivation level would increase so much in just a few days. To think that she could hit it so easily. In the past half a month, it had fought with this lass multiple times. However, it had never been in such a pathetic state. It was actually hit by this lass twice in a row. Furthermore, it was on its face. At this moment, Hong Zuei's battle strength was at its peak. Her speed was extremely fast. Even the Chaos Wolf King, which had always been known for its speed, could not shake her off. Hong Zuei attacked calmly and threw another punch. As for the Chaos Wolf King, it actually could not dodge Hong Zuei's punch. Once again, Hong Zuei's punch landed squarely on its body, sending it flying. Boom! With a loud bang, the Chaos Wolf King's humongous body directly smashed into the rock wall hundreds of feet away. A huge crater was formed in the incomparably sturdy rock wall. Gravel flew everywhere. At this moment, Hong Zuei actually showed signs of breaking through to the extreme Dao realm. Just as Hong Zuei was beating up the Chaos Wolf King, 3 black figures stood on the short mountain outside the valley. On the ground in front of these 3 mysterious figures, there were 2 corpses. Hong Zuei's 2 maidservants were actually killed by these 3 mysterious figures. There's no turning back now that you've killed someone from the primordial chaos race. One of the black-robed masked men sneered. TCH, isn't it just killing 2 people from the primordial chaos race? What's there to be surprised about? Another mysterious figure said disdainfully. Hong Zuei's 2 maidservants did not have much status in the primordial chaos race. They were not core members of the race. However, they were still members of the primordial chaos race. After killing them, Hong Zuei would definitely not let it go so easily. But so what? Their target was Hong Zuei. When Hong Zuei and the Chaos Wolf King are both injured, that will be the time for us to make our move. The leader of the mysterious figure's voice was incomparably cold and emotionless. From the moment they set their eyes on Hong Zuei, there was no turning back. At this time, in the city lord's manor of the Hongming Divine City, Gu Fei's mind was wandering. His divine sense enveloped the entire heaven and earth. Naturally, he could sense everything that was happening in the primordial chaos race's hunting ground 100 miles away. Someone actually has designs on that little girl? Chapter 5485. On the Flame Star, with Gu Fei's cultivation, he could cover a radius of billions of miles with a single thought. At this time, even though Gu Fei was in the Hongming Divine City, his mind was still wandering around. His faintly discernible divine sense was still roaming between heaven and earth. Then, he saw an interesting scene. It wasn't a secret that the Hongming Divine Race had a hunting ground 100 miles away from the Hongming Divine City. The Hongming Divine Race used this hunting ground to train their younger generation. In the past 1,000 years, the Hongming Divine Race had been on the right track. However, ever since Gu Fei returned, everything had changed. The Hongming Divine Race's efforts in the past 1,000 years had almost gone to waste. Everything that belonged to the Hongming Divine Race didn't belong to them anymore. Even the entire Hongming Divine Race had become someone else's slave. Everything that belonged to the Hongming Divine Race didn't belong to them anymore. Of course, Gu Fei wasn't a harsh master. He was still very tolerant towards his subordinates. Basically, he was a hands-off boss. Gu Fei wouldn't interfere with the Hongming Divine Race's internal affairs, and he couldn't be bothered to. This made the Hongming Divine Race's ancestors heave a sigh of relief. Meanwhile, in the depths of the Hongming Divine Race's hunting ground, in the valley where the Chaos Wolf King's lair was located, the Chaos Wolf King's roar shook heaven and earth. Powerful vital energy fluctuations surged out from the valley. On the short mountain outside the valley, the three mysterious experts stood quietly on the top of the mountain, motionless, like three statues. In the valley, the Chaos Wolf King charged at Hong Zue like a madman. However, no matter how ferocious the Chaos Wolf King's attacks were, they were easily blocked by Hong Zue's fists. Hong Zue's punches were simple and direct. However, every punch contained the essence of the Great Tao, and it had the power to turn something rotten into something magical. How is this possible? The Chaos Wolf King was depressed. He had just been punched twice in the face by Hong Zue. Now that he had used his trump card, he still couldn't do anything to her. This Chaos Wolf King had been cultivating for a much longer time than Hong Zue. In the eyes of the Chaos Wolf King, Hong Zue was really just a little girl. However, Hong Zue had a good background and was a genius of the primordial Chaos God race. This was something that the Chaos Wolf King could not compare to. Family background was also a kind of capital. The Grand Mist Divine Clan's inheritance was definitely extraordinary. One had to know that the Grand Mist Divine Clan was once one of the 10 strongest superpowers in the Flame World. This was the difference between Hong Zue, who had a powerful inheritance, and the Chaos Wolf King. Boom! Hong Zue was conjuring the Great Tao. With a single punch, she sent the Chaos Wolf King flying once again. The Chaos Wolf King was extremely depressed right now. He had fought with Hong Zue a couple of times before as well. However, all of them ended in a draw. Hong Zue couldn't gain any advantage over him at all. But now, in such a short period of time, he was actually not a match for this little girl. How did this little girl's cultivation suddenly soar? Boom! The Chaos Wolf King smashed into the forest in the valley, causing chaos in the forest. At the next moment, the Chaos Wolf King rushed out of the forest, coughing out blood continuously. The power of Hong Zue's punch was not small. Moreover, the power of Hong Zue's punches grew stronger and stronger. She punched out again, causing the void to tremble. Spatial ripples visible to the naked eye spread out from her fists. Without any suspense, the Chaos Wolf King that was pouncing towards Hong Zue was sent flying once again. At this time, Hong Zue had entered a mysterious state of cultivation. Her Great Tao was constantly evolving and perfecting itself. Her cultivation had actually broken through under such circumstances. Interesting. In the Hongming Divine City, Gu Fei chuckled when he saw this scene. Hong Zue actually broke through at this time. How unexpected. In the Grand Mist Divine Clan, as long as one's cultivation broke through to the extreme Tao realm, they could become the clan's patriarch. If Hong Zue's cultivation successfully broke through to the extreme Tao realm, she would be the youngest patriarch in the history of the Grand Mist Divine Clan. Impossible. The Chaos Wolf King went berserk. He immediately conjured his heaven and earth Dharma idol, and a silver wolf that was bigger than a mountain appeared between heaven and earth. The huge wolf claw, slammed down on Hong Zuair. Chaotic chi swirled around the wolf's claw, and the sharp claws tore through the void. The Chaos Wolf King was also a half-step extreme Dao expert. At this moment, he already knew that Hong Zuair was breaking through the shackles of her cultivation. Her cultivation was about to break through to the true extreme Dao realm. This was definitely not a good thing for the Chaos Wolf King. He was no match for Hong Zuair now. If Hong Zuair's cultivation broke through to the extreme Dao realm, he would die a horrible death. Under the Chaos Wolf King's huge claw, Hong Zuair was as small as an ant. However, even though Hong Zuair's body couldn't compare to the Chaos Wolf King's, the Yuan Qi in her body was extremely strong. She directly punched at the wolf claw that came crashing down from the sky. Bam! A dull thud resounded. Her small fist actually blocked the huge wolf claw. Damn it! The Chaos Wolf King desperately circulated the Yuan Qi in its body, wanting to slap Hong Zuair to death under its claws. However, Hong Zuair's right foot stomped on the ground. Her entire spine shook violently, and an even stronger force immediately exploded from her right fist. Boom! The ferocious fist force directly shattered the Chaos Wolf King's huge wolf claw, turning it into a cloud of blood mist. Roar! The Chaos Wolf King roared and turned to escape. No matter how unwilling it was, it had to escape at this moment. This was because it knew that it was no longer this little girl's match. If it continued to fight with this little girl, it would definitely be the one to die. Hong Zuair didn't chase after the Chaos Wolf King. This was because she had reached the most crucial moment. An extreme Dao mark was constantly collapsing and reforming on her glabella. Every time it reformed, the great Dao mark on her glabella would become clearer, and it would become more complete. At this moment, the Chaos Wolf King charged out of the valley. The victor has been decided so quickly? On the short mountain outside the valley, the leader of the mysterious men in black said with some surprise. In order to deal with Hong Zuair, they already knew everything about Hong Zuair. Hong Zuair and this Chaos Wolf King had battled a few times, and it had always ended in a draw. Today, the battle between Hong Zuair and the Chaos Wolf King had actually ended so quickly. This was beyond the expectations of these mysterious men. The Chaos Wolf King, which was even bigger than a mountain, directly charged towards the mountain that the three mysterious men were on. This was because the mountain that the three mysterious men were on was directly facing the valley's exit. The three mysterious men hurriedly charged into the sky. Boom! Immediately after, there was a loud sound. The Chaos Wolf King that had charged out of the valley had actually slammed its head into the short mountain in front of the valley's entrance. The entire short mountain was smashed into pieces, and it fled in a pathetic manner. Chapter 5486. In the depths of the primordial Chaos Divine Tribe's hunting grounds, the Chaos Wolf King escaped from the valley. This time, the Chaos Wolf King was scared out of its wits. In its panic, it slammed its head into the small mountain opposite the valley. The entire small mountain was smashed into pieces by the giant wolf. In an instant, rocks flew everywhere, and dust filled the air. The entrance to the valley was in chaos. As for the three mysterious men who had their eyes on Hong Zuair, they were scared out of their wits. What was the Chaos Wolf King doing? Was it rushing to reincarnate? The leader of the mysterious men was relatively calm. However, his two subordinates widened their eyes and were dumbfounded. The Chaos Wolf King was a powerful existence that was half a step into the extreme Dao realm. His escape with all his might had caused quite a commotion. What's happening in the mountain? Outside the hunting grounds, several primordial Chaos Divine Tribe disciples looked into the depths of the mountain. What else is going on? Our young miss is having fun in there. But the commotion this time is a little too big. Looking at the dust rising into the sky from the depths of the mountain, the primordial Chaos Divine Tribe disciples were shocked. They had not caused such a commotion in the past few times. At this time, in the Chaos Wolf King's lair, endless heaven and earth spiritual energy gathered towards a figure from all directions and was directly absorbed. Not good. Outside the valley, the mysterious leader seemed to have sensed something and couldn't help but be shocked. "Boss, what's wrong?" one of the mysterious men asked anxiously. Hong Zue is breaking through. As the mysterious leader spoke, his figure disappeared into the void in the next moment. He was nowhere to be seen. What? The two mysterious men were shocked. Hong Zue was a half-step extreme Dao existence. If she made a breakthrough in her cultivation, wouldn't she be in the extreme Dao realm? Once she broke through to the extreme grade realm, their plan would not be able to proceed any further. Not only would their plan be ruined, but they would also have to flee for their lives. At this time, the leader of the mysterious men had already rushed into the valley and saw Hong Zue standing in the void. Hong Zue stood quietly in the air, surrounded by spiritual light. Endless spiritual chi of the world frantically gathered towards her and entered her body. At this moment, Hong Zue's entire body was like a bottomless pit, crazily devouring the surrounding spiritual energy. I'm really going to break through. How can I let you break through? As the mysterious man spoke, he flipped his right hand and a handful of black beads appeared in his hand. Without hesitation, the mysterious man waved his hand and threw the black beads at Hong Zue. More than a dozen black pearls instantly smashed in front of Hong Zue. Rumble. In the next moment, a thunderclap shook the heavens as the black beads exploded several meters away from Hong Zue. A powerful force of destruction erupted, directly drowning Hong Zue within it. Boss, this? The other two mysterious men rushed over. The mysterious leader stared at the destructive flames that exploded in front of him. The black beads he threw out were the thunderbolt fireballs that were famous even in Flame World. When he threw out the thunderbolt flame ball, even a half-step extreme Dao expert would have to dodge it. However, at this moment, a figure charged out from the ball of lightning fire and pounced towards the three mysterious people. What? When the three mysterious people saw this, they were really shocked. Good, you're here. I'll use you as a practice target. Hong Zue bellowed and threw a punch at the three mysterious men. The void trembled as countless fist shadows appeared in the void, crashing towards the three mysterious men in an overwhelming manner. The three mysterious people were shocked and immediately scattered. However, the shadows of the fists were like shadows. They could even turn and attack the three mysterious people separately. The three mysterious people immediately took out their weapons. The leader flipped his right hand, and a demonic saber immediately appeared in his hand. Kill! The person roared and slashed forward with all his might. An extremely sharp saber light rushed out of the demonic saber in the hands of the mysterious person. It instantly soared for thousands of meters, broke through the countless fist shadows, and slashed towards Hong Zue, who was behind the fist shadows. Another mysterious person wielded a demonic spear and also attacked towards Hong Zue with great vigor. The last mysterious person released poison directly. A poisonous mist spread out in the surroundings, causing the surrounding flowers and trees to wither and turn yellow very quickly. Who are you? Hong Zue was shocked and furious. She had no choice but to retreat, especially the mysterious person who released the poison. The poison that he released was extremely domineering. Even Hong Zue would not dare to touch such a terrifying poisonous mist. Boss, do we kill or follow the plan? The mysterious person who released the poison said loudly. We won't kill if we can capture her. If we can't, we'll kill her. The leader of the mysterious people roared. Understood. The two mysterious people immediately chased after Hong Zue. You sneaky bastards, you still want to capture me? Hong Zue's figure was like a phantom as she moved quickly in the void. She dared not let the person who released the poison get close to her. Moreover, she was one step away from breaking through the shackles of her cultivation base and breaking through to the extreme Dao realm. Therefore, she chose to retreat. Don't let her escape, the leader of the mysterious people shouted. The three mysterious people in black chased after Hong Zue without hesitation. At that moment, the people outside the hunting ground thought that Hong Zue was fighting the Chaos Wolf King. They did not expect that someone would sneak into the hunting ground to capture Hong Zue. Interesting. In the Hong Meng Divine City, the corners of Gu Fei's mouth curled into a sneer. These three people were actually demons. On the Flame Star, there was only one group of demons that dared to go against the Grand Mist Divine race, and they were the Grand Mist demons. Of course, other than the Grand Mist demons, there were other demons on the Flame Star. However, how could those small fries dare to go against the Grand Mist divine race? Don't they know how powerful the Grand Mist divine race's backing is? Gu Fei had not expected that there would still be people who wanted to cause trouble at this time. If I don't cause trouble for them, they would be lucky to have the guts to cause trouble for the Grand Mist divine race. Since those people want to play, let's play with them. I'm bored anyway. After saying that, Gu Fei stood up from the throne and walked out of the hall. Soon, a group of people rushed out of the Hongming Divine City and headed towards the hunting ground. The hunt has begun. Gu Fei rode on a black dragon colt and blended into the group of people. The leader of the group was Hong Zue'er's grandfather, Hong Zhen. Hong Zhen was a true extreme Dao realm expert. Chapter 5487. The hunt had begun, and the mysterious organization had set their sights on Hong Zue'er. However, no one had expected the Grand Mist Divine Race's backer to be Gu Fei. Gu Fei was an expert in the Peerless Realm. According to Holy Master Chaotic Heaven, there were only a few experts in the Peerless Realm who had reached the Peerless Realm in the entire Endless World. With just a thought, Gu Fei could cover hundreds of millions of miles. Hence, Gu Fei had sensed the mysterious organizations plotting against Hong Zue'er. Before long, Hong Zhen led his men to the mountain range where the Grand Mist Divine Race's hunting ground was located. Surprisingly, Gu Fei had mixed in with Hong Zhen's subordinates. Among the entire group, only Hong Zhen knew about Gu Fei's background. Hong Zhen trembled with fear. After all, news of his granddaughter teasing Gu Fei while she was drunk had spread throughout the entire Hongming Divine City. When everyone thought that there was something going on between Hong Zue'er and Gu Fei, there was no news about them. Some people said that a big shot like Gu Fei wouldn't be interested in a drunken girl like Hong Zue'er. Others said that Gu Fei had taken a liking to Hong Zue'er since a long time ago. Otherwise, why didn't he punish Hong Zue'er after she had teased him? During this period, the rumors about Gu Fei and Hong Zue'er had troubled Hong Zhen greatly. Of course, in his opinion, if Gu Fei really took a liking to his granddaughter, it would be great news for the Grand Mist Divine Race. If that happened, the Grand Mist Divine Race would be able to get rid of their status as Gu Fei's servants. They would be able to turn over and become the master of the Grand Mist Divine Race. The difference between the Grand Mist Divine Race and the Yin clan was like the difference between heaven and earth. However, the Hongming Divine clan was uneasy as Gu Fei had never mentioned the matter again after that. Since Gu Fei didn't mention it again, no one dared to. Master, why do we have to ride horses? We can just fly there. Hong Zhen transmitted a message to Gu Fei. He was a bit anxious, because someone wanted to do something to his granddaughter. However, what puzzled Hong Zhen was that Gu Fei actually wanted them to ride the Black Dragon colts to the hunting grounds. Even though the Black Dragon colts were divine steeds nurtured by the Grand Mist Divine Race, they were nothing more than divine steeds. However, no matter how godly a Black Dragon colt was, it was impossible for it to be faster than flight. That's more like hunting, Gu Fei said. He was enjoying the fun of hunting. If he wanted to kill those mysterious people, they would have died a long time ago. But what fun was there in killing them all at once? Hong Zhen was even more baffled when he heard that, and suddenly, Gu Fei sensed Yen Wu's divine sense fluctuations. What does she want? Gu Fei could not help but frown. Yen Wu's divine sense had instantly disappeared. Even he had failed to lock onto Yen Wu's exact location. Who cares? Gu Fei wanted to enjoy the fun of hunting, so he ignored Yen Wu. The two of them shared the same life. If one of them died, the other would have to follow. Therefore, Gu Fei was not afraid that Yen Wu would harm him. Under Hong Zhen's lead, dozens of people rode on the Black Dragon colts. They were like a black gust of wind as they sped across the plains. The Black Dragon colt's speed was not bad. Very soon, Hong Zhen led a dozen of his subordinates to the entrance of the hunting grounds. Outside the hunting grounds, the disciples of the primordial Chaos Divine clan who had received news of ancestor Hong Zhen's arrival stood respectfully on both sides of the entrance to welcome him. How long has Zue'er been in there? Hong Zhen dismounted from his horse and grabbed the steward of the hunting grounds who was about to salute him. He roared at the steward and spat on his face. This. Replying to ancestor, Miss has been in there for more than half a day. The hunting grounds steward panicked and replied hurriedly, What? More than half a day? Hong Zhan was dumbfounded. More than half a day had passed. Didn't that mean his precious granddaughter was in danger? When he thought of this, he couldn't help but glance at Gu Fei. Seeing that Gu Fei was still as calm as before, he felt a little relieved. Activate the formation and seal off the entire hunting grounds. No one is allowed to leave without my orders. Hong Zhan roared at the steward of the hunting ground. Yes. The steward of the hunting ground was so frightened that he broke out in a cold sweat. The aura coming from Hong Zhan's body made him tremble with fear. Hong Zhan was an extreme Tao realm ancestor of the primordial chaos divine clan. Hong Zhan directly threw the steward of the hunting grounds to one side, then led a group of subordinates, abandoning the black dragon colt that they were riding, and rushed into the hunting grounds. There were naturally people to deal with the black dragon colts. As soon as Hong Zhan and the rest entered the hunting grounds, the formation was activated. A layer of divine light appeared above the mountain range and enveloped the entire hunting grounds. Spread out and search. Hong Zhan ordered his subordinates. Yes, the dozens of subordinates Hong Zhan had brought with him obeyed the order and rushed into the mountain range. However, there was one person who didn't move. It was as though he hadn't heard Hong Zhan's order. When all the men disappeared from his sight, Hong Zhan eagerly ran up to the man. Master, what should we do next? Hong Zhan asked cautiously. Let me see your hunting skills. Gu Fei looked at Hong Zhan with a faint smile. Yes, master. In the next moment, Hong Zhan seemed to have become a different person. His entire aura changed. Hong Zhan immediately displayed his superb hunting ability. Very soon, he found the traces left behind by Hong Zue and followed it all the way. Although he had found the traces left behind by Hong Zue and her maidservant, he didn't summon his subordinates because he knew that Gu Fei didn't want his subordinates to follow him. However, a half-step extreme Tao realm expert called Hong Pong appeared nearby and caught up to Hong Zhan and Gu Fei. This was because this disciple of the primordial chaos divine clan had also found Hong Zue's traces. With Hong Pong around, Hong Zhan and Gu Fei naturally couldn't speak casually because Gu Fei didn't want to expose his identity. They followed the traces all the way to the valley where the Chaos Wolf King's lair was located. They saw the mess on the other side of the valley. After the Chaos Wolf King had smashed the short mountain, the entire area was filled with gravel and dust. The entire area had been destroyed. That is, Hong Zhan found a corpse. It was one of the two maidservants that Hong Zue had brought with her. Damn it! Hong Zhan was shaking with anger. Chapter 5488. Hong Zhan, Gu Fei, and the half-step extreme Tao realm expert Hong Pong found the Chaos Wolf King's lair. When they saw the mess outside the valley, they were shocked and enraged. Moreover, they found the corpse of Hong Zue's maid. Even though she was a maid, she was still a member of the primordial divine race. Those people actually dared to kill a member of the primordial divine race. This was equivalent to declaring war on the primordial divine race. At this time, Gu Fei hid his identity. He was currently a subordinate of Grand Mist God Race's old ancestor Hong Zhan, with a peak eternal realm cultivation. To Gu Fei, controlling his aura and vital energy fluctuations was a piece of cake. Moreover, no one could see through his cultivation. This was because no one's cultivation was higher than his. How could anyone with a cultivation lower than Gu Fei see through Gu Fei's cultivation? If he wanted to conceal his strength, even an infinite prime like Yin Wu wouldn't be able to see through Gu Fei's cultivation, let alone others. Go in and take a look, Hong Peng said to Gu Fei. Hong Zhan was shocked. Hong Peng actually dared to order his master around? All right. Gu Fei smiled and nodded. He took a step forward and entered the valley. In fact, he didn't need to enter the valley to know everything. However, he was currently Hong Zhan's subordinate in the peak eternal realm. Therefore, with Gu Fei's current identity, Hong Peng could order him around. There was no other reason. In the primordial divine race, those with higher cultivation had the right to order those with lower cultivation. This was the principle of the strong being respected. Indeed, the strong being respected. This was also why the primordial divine race could become the ancestor of the primordial divine race as long as their cultivation broke through to the extreme Tao realm. Hong Pong was a half-step extreme Tao realm expert. Naturally, he could order around the current Gu Fei. Ancestor, why are you looking at me like that? At this time, Hong Peng realized that the ancestor Hong Zhan was glaring at him. From the looks of it, Hong Zhan was about to pounce on him and tear him apart. Nothing. Hong Zhan realized that he had lost his composure and hurriedly turned around. His hands were clenched into fists, and his entire body was trembling. He really could not help but beat up Hong Peng just now. That was the master. This guy actually dared to order the master around. Hong Zhan was about to go crazy. Hong Peng, on the other hand, was baffled. He had no idea that he had done something that would drive Hong Zhan crazy. Gu Fei quickly walked out of the valley. There's nothing inside. Gu Fei said, let's go in and have a look. As Hong Zhan spoke, he entered the valley with Hong Peng and Gu Fei. Then, they saw more traces of fighting. The people who left these marks were Hong Zue and the three mysterious experts. With Hong Zhan's tracking skills, he quickly found the direction in which Hong Zue and the others had left the valley. Zue is being attacked by 3 people. Hong Zhan sneered. What are we waiting for? Gu Fei said. Hong Zhan followed the traces left behind by Hong Zue. Gu Fei followed behind Hong Zhan unhurriedly. Even Hong Peng, who did not know Gu Fei's identity, could not help but look at Gu Fei a few more times. Before long, there was a fluctuation of yuan qi in front of them. Hong Zhan did not think too much about it and immediately rushed forward. Several figures were chasing after one another in the mountains. A figure was fleeing in front, while 3 black figures were chasing after him. You 3 bastards! You deserve to die! Hong Zhan roared and soared into the sky, pouncing towards the people chasing after each other in the mountains. His roar reverberated through the mountains. What? Extreme Tao realm, run! The 3 mysterious people in black were shocked when they saw Hong Zhan pouncing towards them. The 3 of them could not be bothered to chase after Hong Zue and fled in different directions. Hong Zhan was the ancestor of the primordial divine clan and had a powerful cultivation base in the extreme Tao realm. Such an existence was not someone they could fight. Where do you think you're going? Hong Zhan was infuriated. These people actually dared to kill a member of the primordial divine clan. They really deserve to die. Hong Zhan's body blurred, and in the next moment, 3 Hong Zhans appeared in the void. These 3 Hong Zhans immediately chased after the 3 mysterious people who were fleeing in different directions. External doppelganger? Gu Fei was a little surprised that Hong Zhan had actually cultivated this kind of martial path remarkable ability. The ancestor is finally here. Only then did Hong Zue stop and take a break. These 3 detestable people were really hard to deal with, especially one of them who was proficient in poison techniques. His ability to release poison was not to be underestimated. Hong Zue was still one step away from breaking through the shackles of her cultivation base and becoming a true ancestor of the extreme Tao realm. If it weren't for these 3 people causing trouble, she would have broken through to the extreme Tao realm long ago. Ancestor, I'll be leaving first. Hong Zue roared in Hong Zhan's direction and soared into the sky, disappearing into the mountains. She had to find a place to make her final breakthrough as soon as possible. What could be more important than breaking through her current cultivation base? Hong Zue didn't even see Gu Fei. At that moment, the 3 figures that Hong Zhan had transformed into had already caught up to the 3 mysterious people. Hong Zhan didn't have any subordinates, so he directly attacked. The 3 mysterious people couldn't even withstand a single attack from Hong Zhan's doppelganger and were instantly killed. This was how powerful and terrifying an extreme Tao realm ancestor was. In the eyes of other living beings on the Flame Planet, extreme Tao realm ancestor was synonymous with power. Hong Zhan, how dare you kill my people? Just as Hong Zhan killed the 3 mysterious experts, an angry roar came from the distance. In the next moment, a figure appeared in the sky above the mountains, and a powerful extreme Tao realm aura descended from the sky. The entire sky darkened, and a terrifying devil Tao aura swept across the sky. The primordial demons? At that moment, 3 figures charged at each other. Hong Zhan's figure appeared in the sky, and he looked coldly at the demonic figure in front of him. Kill! The demonic figure roared angrily and threw a punch at Hong Zhan. They're going to fight just because they don't like each other? Gu Fei couldn't help but frown when he saw this. The extreme Dao realm great demon of the primordial demons was very murderous. Do you think I'm afraid of you? Hong Zhan sneered and slapped the demonic figure with his palm. A powerful palm force surged from his palm, and the surrounding sand and pebbles were sent flying. Bam! The fist and the palm collided with each other, producing a dull sound. The two figures separated in an instant. The palm force that came from the sky directly swept away the trees on the mountains, and the mountains were in chaos. The two extreme Dao realm experts started fighting. Chapter 5489. Before the flame world was destroyed, the primordial demons were already one of the 10 strongest factions in the flame world. There were countless experts among the demons, and the primordial demon lord was even more mysterious. No one had ever seen his true face. There was actually no suspense in this matter. It was all because of the primordial demons. They wanted to capture Hong Zue and control her. Unfortunately, the primordial demons did not expect that Hong Zue-er's cultivation realm would actually break through at this time. 3 half-step extreme Dao experts could not capture Hong Zue-er. This made the primordial demon's ancestor, Meng Lian, very depressed. He had no choice but to rush over personally. However, just as Meng Lian arrived, he saw Hong Zhan execute his mystique and kill the 3 subordinates he sent out. As a result, the 2 extreme Dao powerhouses began to fight. They fought from the sky to the ground, and from the ground to the sky. Powerful extreme Dao level power spread out, and dust flew everywhere in the mountain ridges. Rocks flew everywhere, and it was a mess. Countless beasts in the mountain range fled in fear. The Chaos Wolf King hid as far away as it could. This was because a battle of this level was no longer something a half-step extreme Dao expert could interfere with. Of course, anyone who was tired of living could interfere. It was obvious that the Chaos Wolf King had not lived long enough. Hong Zhan was a little depressed. His granddaughter actually ran away after seeing him. Gu Fei was a little bored from afar. A battle of extreme Dao experts. Hong Pong, who was beside Gu Fei, was extremely excited. One should know that a battle of this level was not something he could encounter often, especially now that he was a half-step extreme Dao expert. This battle was crucial to whether or not he could break through to the true extreme Dao realm. If he could comprehend something from this battle, he would have a chance to break through to the true extreme Dao realm. Brother, why are you so happy? Gu Fei smiled. He was only Hong Zhan's subordinate below the extreme Dao. Do you know how to address me as uncle? Hong Pong was a little displeased with this guy who interrupted his spectating. Uncle? When Gu Fei heard this, he laughed. In this world, there was probably not a single person who dared to be his uncle. This guy was amazing. He actually wanted him to call him uncle. Don't disturb me while I'm watching the battle, understand? Hong Pong said bluntly. I know. However, it's impossible for you to gain enlightenment from this battle and break through to the extreme Dao realm. Gu Fei said indifferently. What did you say? Hong Pong was even more displeased when he heard this. Haha, forget what I said. Gu Fei shrugged. Don't pretend to understand in front of me, okay? Hong Pong didn't have any good expression towards Gu Fei because his cultivation was higher than Gu Fei's. Therefore, he could bully Gu Fei. After all, the weak were prey to the strong. As for Hong Pong, he believed that he understood this truth better than anyone else. Therefore, he had always been strong in front of those who were weaker than him. Okay, Gu Fei said. If this guy knew who he was talking to, he would probably pee in his pants. However, Gu Fei wanted to enjoy this kind of fun. Hong Pong didn't bother with Gu Fei anymore. This was because the battle between Hong Zhan and the demon expert was very important to him. He didn't have time to talk nonsense with Gu Fei. At this moment, Hong Zhan and the demon expert fought from the sky to the ground. The primordial divine race and the primordial demons were sworn enemies. If the two races met, they would definitely fight to the death. Meng Lian, you sneaky bastard. You're still as despicable as ever. Hong Zhan said angrily as he attacked. "Tch Hong Zhan, you're not much better than me." The demon expert sneered. "Heavenly slaying demon blade." The primordial demon's expert, Menglian, roared. In the next moment, he used his hands as a blade and slashed at Hong Zhan at extreme speed. Streaks of saber radiance shot out from his hand and slashed at Hong Zhan in an overwhelming manner. Primordial sky-splitting fist. Hong Zhan didn't back down. He immediately used the primordial sky-splitting fist of the primordial divine race. Countless fist shadows rushed out to meet the blade light. The fist shadows and blade light collided. Then, the fist shadows and blade light disappeared. Two powerful forces of the extreme Tao erupted. Both of them wanted to kill each other. However, their cultivation levels were the same and their battle strength was about the same. They were both ruthless people who had climbed out of a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. Be it Hong Zhan or Menglian, they were both ruthless people. It wouldn't be easy for the two of them to determine a winner and decide who lives and dies. Violent energy ripples spread out in all directions. Countless trees were torn to shreds. Even huge boulders that weighed thousands of kilograms were swept up into the air and shattered into pieces. The energy storm swept towards the place where Gu Fei and the others were. *T. Hong Peng turned around and fled. He didn't care about Gu Fei's life or death. The competition within the primordial divine race was fierce. Everyone wanted to rise up the ranks. In Hong Peng's opinion, once the fellow beside him broke through to the half-step extreme Tao realm, he would be on the same level as Hong Peng in the primordial divine race. Therefore, Hong Peng didn't want to save Gu Fei. However, Hong Peng didn't know that the person in front of him didn't need his help. This fellow, Gu Fei, shook his head helplessly and fled. He didn't like Hong Peng. This fellow was cold-blooded. One had to know that Hong Peng was a member of the primordial divine race. Hong Peng was cold-blooded to his own race. One could imagine that Hong Peng was someone who would do anything to achieve his goals. Hong Zhan and Menglian were fighting with all their might. They no longer held back. The two of them seemed to have gone mad. They attacked without any scruples in the mountain ridge. The entire mountain ridge was immediately affected. Wherever they passed, the mountain ridges would collapse. There was nothing in the mountain range that could stop them. By this time, the disciples of the Grand Mist Divine Race outside the mountain ridge were already dumbfounded by the commotion inside. Who is Ancestor Hong Zhan fighting with? Soaring Devil Chi. Could it be the Grand Mist Devil Race's extreme Tao Devils? The disciples of the primordial divine race were usually in charge of the hunting grounds. They weren't core disciples of the primordial divine race, so they were at a loss. In the primordial divine race, there was a strict hierarchy. These disciples who were in charge of the hunting grounds had never seen such a big scene before. At this time, in the depths of the hunting grounds, demon chi soared into the sky. Powerful fluctuations of origin chi spread out, and the disciples outside the hunting grounds were terrified. That's a bit too much. Gu Fei, who had retreated, couldn't help but frown when he saw the murderous aura and the billowing dust in the mountain ridge. Chapter 5490. The primordial divine tribe's hunting grounds would be completely destroyed in the battle between Hong Zhan and Menglian. This was a training ground that the primordial divine tribe had operated for hundreds of years. It was a place to train the younger generation of the primordial divine tribe. If it was destroyed, the primordial divine tribe would suffer a huge loss. However, the ancestors of the primordial divine tribe were busy building the teleportation array for Gu Fei. None of them had the time to kill Menglian. What's going on? Hong Shang, who was in the primordial divine city, had already sensed the commotion 100 miles away. Focus. If you fail, I'll beat you to death. Chaotic Heaven Holy Master scolded Hong Shang as soon as he was distracted. Yes, 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 Hong Shang replied hurriedly. At this time, the array formation of the teleportation array platform had reached its most critical moment. Whether it could succeed or not depended on the success of the core array formation. Even Hong Shang and Yan Huatian, who were sworn enemies, had no choice but to join forces temporarily. Neither of them dared to be careless. The ancestor of the Grand Mist Divine Race and the ancestor of the Flame Clan were busy working on the battle platform. None of them were idle. While the two races' ancestors were busy building the teleportation array, Hong Zhan was fighting Minglian, the ancestor of the primordial demons, in the primordial divine tribe's hunting grounds. Hong Zhan had no qualms about fighting Minglian because he knew that Gu Fei wouldn't allow him to be killed by Minglian. Therefore, Hong Zhan didn't hold back. He used all his strength in every attack. Powerful energy erupted from his body, causing the void to tremble. Kill. Minglian was also fighting with his life on the line. Shadow after shadow of the demonic saber condensed around him and slashed at Hong Zhan in an overwhelming manner. Every streak of blade light slashed through the void, leaving a hair-thin crack in the void. Hong Zhan brandished his fists and smashed the saber radiance that came slashing at him. A ferocious fist force surged out from Hong Zhan's fist. Not a single blade light could get within 3 feet of him. Minglian, you've regressed. Hong Zhan sneered. TSK, you too. Minglian sneered. Go to hell. Hong Zhan exploded with power. This time, he used all of his strength. All of his power was gathered in his right fist, and then he punched out. This punch was the strongest punch Hong Zhan could throw, be it in terms of speed or power. Countless demonic saber lights were shattered by Hong Zhan's punch. Seeing that Hong Zhan was going all out, Minglian did not dare to be careless. He put his hands together above his head, and countless knife shadows immediately gathered in his hands. Kill. Minglian slashed at Hong Zhan's fist with all his might. These two lunatics are finally going to decide the victor. Gu Fei couldn't help but sigh when he saw this scene from afar. In fact, with his current cultivation base, he already knew the outcome of the battle the moment the two of them exchanged blows. It couldn't be helped. His cultivation was much higher than these two fellows. Boom! There was a loud bang. In the next moment, the two figures were sent flying. A powerful destructive force swept out in all directions, and countless trees were destroyed. A terrifying energy storm spread out, and everything within a radius of a few hundred miles was completely destroyed. Countless living beings in the mountains were finished. These living beings didn't even have the chance to escape. This was what it meant when immortals fought. Mortals suffered. Hong Peng was frightened by this scene and immediately turned to escape. Gu Fei, on the other hand, was still standing there. He didn't care about the terrifying destructive storm that was sweeping towards him at all. This guy is crazy. Hong Peng saw that Gu Fei didn't escape, so he wouldn't attack him. He deserves to die. Hong Peng immediately ran away without a trace. The destructive storm that was sweeping towards him drowned Gu Fei. The destructive storm that could destroy everything in Hong Meng's eyes couldn't even enter the 3 feet of void in front of Gu Fei. Boom! There was another loud bang. Hong Zhan and Minglian were fighting with all their might. Both of them attacked each other without any regard for their lives. Hong Zhan and Minglian were sent flying again. Bam! Hong Zhan crashed into a mountain ridge, creating a huge hole in the mountain ridge. Countless gravel flew out and smashed into the mountain ridge. Minglian, on the other hand, fell to the ground and slid for dozens of miles before coming to a stop, creating a deep trench that was dozens of miles long. Hong Zhan, you bastard! Minglian lay on the ground, constantly coughing up blood. His clothes were tattered, and there were bloody wounds on his arms. Demon blood kept oozing out from the wounds. An extreme demon of his generation was actually injured. Moreover, the wounds on Minglian's arms couldn't be healed in a short time. Hong Zhan fell into a forest. He lay on the damp ground, panting heavily. Minglian's cultivation has improved by quite a bit. Hong Zhan was also shocked. Minglian's heaven-slaying demon blade was indeed worthy of being the primordial demon's clan guarding blade technique. Hong Zhan's body was covered in cuts, and he was covered in blood. Some of the cuts were so deep that bones could be seen. The heaven-slaying demon blade was the primordial demon's trump card. However, the primordial heaven opening fist of the primordial divine race was not to be trifled with. At that moment, the destructive storm swept past. Gu Fei was still standing in the void, calm and composed. Not even a strand of his hair was missing. How is this possible? Hong Peng, who had escaped far away, saw Gu Fei standing in the void. His eyeballs almost fell to the ground. How did this guy survive? Hong Peng couldn't believe it. One had to know that it was a destructive force formed by two great extreme-grade powerhouses fighting with all their might. The power of two great extreme-grade powerhouses was mixed together. Even Hong Peng would not be able to withstand such a destructive force and would be instantly killed. However, how could this guy, who wasn't even in the extreme Dao realm, withstand such a destructive force? Could it be that he has an eternal-level protective Dao weapon? A thought flashed through Hong Peng's mind, and he thought of a possibility. That must be it, Hong Peng murmured. Both sides are injured, Gu Fei muttered to himself. Hong Zhan and Meng Lian had fought to the point where both sides were injured. It was difficult for either side to kill the other. Hong Zhan, I'll settle the score with you next time. Meng Lian crushed a jade talisman as he spoke. In the next moment, a ball of demonic light enveloped him, and he was about to leave. However, at that moment, a figure appeared in the sky above Meng Lian without any warning. The moment this person appeared, the entire void seemed to freeze. Meng Lian, who was shrouded in demonic light, was frozen in the void. How is this possible? Meng Lian, who was shrouded in demonic light, was shocked. Who is this guy? Chapter 5491. In the primordial divine clan's hunting ground, Hong Zhan and Meng Lian of the primordial demons were both heavily injured. Just as Meng Lian was about to leave, a figure suddenly appeared above him. He felt as if the void around him had solidified. Even Meng Lian's void-breaching devil escape talisman had lost its effect. Meng Lian was scared out of his wits by the sudden appearance of this person. A strong pressure descended from the sky and pinned Meng Lian to the ground. Meng Lian was shocked to find that he couldn't even move a finger, let alone stand up from the ground. Who are you? Meng Lian said with difficulty. You don't have the right to know who I am. Gu Fei said indifferently. What? Meng Lian was even more shocked. Was this guy an Eternal Realm ancestor? An Eternal Realm ancestor could easily crush an Extreme Dao Realm expert. In front of an Eternal Realm expert, an Extreme Dao Realm expert was as weak as an ant. Tell me, how do you want to die? Gu Fei's tone was emotionless. I don't want to die, Meng Lian said through gritted teeth. That's not up to you. Gu Fei's tone was still as cold as ever. You're just an Eternal Realm expert. How dare you attack us juniors? Do you have any shame? Meng Lian roared. He thought that the person in front of him was an Eternal Realm expert of the primordial divine clan. Otherwise, how could he have been so powerless to resist? Never in his wildest dreams would he have thought that the person in front of him was one of the 3 strongest supremes on the Flame Star. If Meng Lian knew about Gu Fei's background, he would have wet his pants. An Eternal Realm expert? Gu Fei couldn't help laughing. Yes, you really don't have the right to kill me. Gu Fei nodded. Meng Lian was pleasantly surprised. As long as this guy didn't attack him, he wouldn't die. Gu Fei thought for a moment, then flipped his right hand. A ball of divine light filled with vitality immediately appeared in his hand and turned into a ball of light. What do you want? When Meng Lian saw that Gu Fei was about to attack, he was shocked again. Gu Fei waved his right hand, and the ball of divine light in his hand flew out, instantly disappearing into the void without a trace. Seeing this, Meng Lian was puzzled. At the next moment, in the forest where Hong Zhan was, a ball of divine light descended from the sky and entered his body. This is Hong Zhan, who was lying on the ground, jumped in fright. However, he immediately felt an extremely tremendous life force spreading through his body. Then, Hong Zhan's injuries healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. Hong Zhan slowly stood up from the ground. The injuries on his body were healed in an instant. His vitality spread throughout his body. Not only had his injuries healed, but even his cultivation realm was showing signs of breaking through. Hurry up and get over here. At that moment, Gu Fei's voice sounded in Hong Zhan's mind. Yes, yes, yes. Hong Zhan was shocked. It was only then that he realized that his master was helping him. Only his master would have the means to do so. He hurriedly flew out of the forest and rushed in the direction where Gu Fei was. Soon, he arrived behind Gu Fei. "Greetings, Master." Hongzhen knelt down in fear at Gu Fei. "Master?" Meng Lian, who was on the ground, was dumbfounded when he saw Hongzhen bowing down to this person. "I'll leave this guy to you," Gu Fei said before disappearing into the void. Before Hongzhen could react, Gu Fei had already left. "Meng Lian, to think that you would have such a day." Hongzhen slowly stood up in the void and stared coldly at Meng Lian on the ground. "How is this possible? How did you recover so quickly? This is impossible." Meng Lian could not help but feel shocked when he sensed the powerful aura on Hongzhen's body. Wasn't this guy seriously injured just like him? How was it possible that he was not injured at all? "Nothing is impossible. You can die now." Hongzhen did not hesitate as he punched at Meng Lian. "You?" Meng Lian wanted to say something. However, Hongzhen did not give him a chance to speak. Boom! The violent fist force slammed into Meng Lian's body. Meng Lian's body exploded and turned into a bloody mist. His body and soul were completely destroyed. After killing Meng Lian, Hongzhen appeared beside Hong Peng in a flash. "Old ancestor." Hong Peng jumped in fright. "Go gather the others and return." Hongzhen looked at Hong Peng and said coldly, "Yes." Hong Peng acknowledged the order and left to gather the others. The battle between Hongzhen and Meng Lian had already alerted Hongzhen's subordinates. However, Hongzhen's subordinates could not interfere in a battle of this level. They had all fled as far as they could. It was not an easy task to gather them now. Hongzhen couldn't care less as he returned to the Hongming Divine City. At the same time, in the center of the Hongming Divine City, a teleportation array platform the size of a small hill stood tall. Ancient and mysterious runes flashed across the platform. The entire teleportation array platform was bustling with activity. The ancestors of the primordial divine race and the Flame Clan were busy. Still not done? When Gu Fei returned to the Grand Mist Divine City, he couldn't help but frown when he saw that Holy Master Chaotic Heaven was still instructing the two races' ancestors to set up the formation runes. He returned to the City Lord's manor. Holy Master Chaotic Heavens led the ancestors of the primordial divine race and the Flame Clan to work on the teleportation array platform for 10 days and 10 nights. On the morning of the 11th day, a beam of divine light shot into the sky without any warning. The dazzling divine light pierced through the void, and no one knew where it had gone. Success? In the City Lord's manor, Gu Fei, who was sitting cross-legged on his throne, opened his eyes. In the next moment, he disappeared into the void. When he reappeared, he was already in the sky above the teleportation array platform. "You're here." Holy Master Chaotic Heavens welcomed Gu Fei the moment he saw him. "Greetings, Master." The ancestors of the two powerful clans hurriedly knelt down in front of Gu Fei, who had just appeared in the sky. "Rise," Gu Fei said indifferently. "It's done." Holy Master Chaotic Heavens said excitedly. He didn't want to stay on the Flame Star any longer. He couldn't wait to activate the teleportation array platform and return to the Void World. Well done. Gu Fei was also excited. That day, he had been forced to use the teleportation array platform. It was an absolute humiliation to him. He wanted to return to the Void World. He wondered how Holy Master Void Sky's clones would react if they saw him in the Void World. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.